Yo, 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 what is up, everyone? It's Mini TV here, coming again at you with another video. Today, we've got a little treat for
Cringe.
you. I'm definitely gonna
Cringe.
mute that out. This is the DPC EU closed qualifiers. This sort of series is going to be the top other 4 teams that are going to join Secret, Liquid, Nigma, and OG. We have Spiderpigz versus Chicken Fighters. It's going to be a best of 3, and the draft is all underway. And I've got a friend joining me as well, a mid player for our university team. Joe, how you doing? You doing good?
Hey, I'm chilling.
Chilling,
Got my
perfect.
tea.
Good, man. Sounds good. So, I mean, I haven't really watched that much of Spiderpigz or Chicken Fighters. Obviously, there's been like a massive patch, and there's been like the Christmas holidays and stuff. But obviously, like Chicken Fighters, I think they recently reformed, right, with Jesse, Ira, and Zibe. I can't remember the other 2 teams. And then Spiderpigz is LeBron, Thug, Noob, DNZ, and I can't remember their last player either. But I mean, are you expecting any
LeBron.
particular like heroes that are?
They have noob, bro. They have noob in the mid lane.
Okay.
Damn that noob.
Is there any particular heroes that you think are like really strong at the moment? Because we've only had like the A patch so far for the new patch. Is there any heroes that you think are going to be must picked? Really obvious.
Must pick heroes. Puck is banned. Void Spirit is banned. Kodo is banned. Those ones.
Yeah.
The ones that get banned.
I mean, I think Lycan is something that saw a lot of
True, Lycan is strong.
Lycan saw a lot of play in the NA Open qualifiers.
I think Rookie is pretty good.
Yeah, with the
As a
Rookie too.
carry.
But Spiderpigz start off with
But I think
the first pick Clockwork, and then Chicken Fighters respond with the Nyx Profit, which is something we saw in the NA Open qualifiers as well. That kind of strong 4 and 3 combination. It looks like both the 3s and the 4s of both teams has already been picked out. What was you going to say?
I know noob. The Spiderpigz mid. He mostly plays Lina, Void Spirit, and Puck. I think are his 3 heroes that he mostly plays, and 2 of them already banned out.
Yeah.
So we'll see if there's a Lina coming, but I'm pretty sure those are the 3 heroes he like mostly plays.
Interesting. So Spiderpigz take out the Undying, and then Chicken Fighters take out the Phoenix as well. They don't want to give over the Phoenix Mars combination, even if it's most likely going to be a Clockwork 4. But I've definitely seen Clockwork 5 being played before. I know Notel has played it and picked up for a lot. And I was watching a Chinese game in the Open
What's the team that play
qualifiers.
Qualifiers?
Yeah, I think I think it kind of works kind of well in the sense that I think just having this hero that can kind of soak up damage for the carry can be really useful. Kind of similar to like an Ogre. I think Ogre does it obviously better than a Clockwork, but Clockwork gives you the ability to always sort
It's
of
more
start
aggressive
team fights.
potential.
Yeah, exactly. Start fights, gives you initiation and stuff.
Yes, it mostly comes down to the lane matchup, I think, is when they decide to, put it on the 5. Or if there's a 4 that they really want to own the lane.
Yeah. No, yeah. So it makes sense. I guess this Phoenix banned out as well, which makes sense. Like it's such a combo that we've seen so much in the last patch, and even though it got nerfed, it's still super good.
They do have Nyx though. I feel like I don't understand. Chicken Fighters, they have Nyx, and they've banned 3 heroes that Nyx hard counters.
That's true, actually. Bat, Puck, and Phoenix.
It seems,
yeah.
I guess like Nyx just owns all 3 of those heroes. I guess Puck, if you're a professional player, it's not as big of a counter.
Yeah.
Because people will use their phase shift when they orb, but the other 2, it definitely kind of like interrupt the Sunray. That's half of Phoenix's utility as a hero gone. It's a hero you can easily burst unless he has loads of farm.
Yeah. No, true. They take out PL as well.
There goes the Lycan.
And then there's the Lycan, as we mentioned in the outset. But I think PL was an interesting hero because I thought PL was kind of a good hero last patch. But the problem was that they had the heroes
PL
like
was
Sven.
Not good last patch.
I don't know. I think Sven and PL's definitely better this patch, right? But Sven obviously was such a big hero last patch. With that hero kind of being dead in the water this patch, I think PL is definitely stronger because of it. But interesting to see.
I think PL's still in a similar place as last patch.
He got better though,
to
right?
me is
He
kind
got
of
some
like
buffs in 28.
He's kind of like PL's kind of like an anti-mage that farms slower. That's how I see it. Once you get your items on PL, then he's really strong. And obviously with the right matchups.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to get there because you're so weak until you have your items.
Yeah.
and you don't farm that fast on PL.
Uh,
Obviously, you farm relatively fast with your Phantom Rush and your
For
illusions, but
sure. I think this is kind of what I was really interested in watching some of these European games though, because I'm just interested to sort of see what heroes are given so much value. You know, like whether like heroes like PL, for example, are viewed as good, and because there's only so much you can tell from pubs. Obviously, like you know, heroes like Lycan obviously were looking really strong, and it looks like we might
dude,
see some kind
Lycan
of
Ricky is the strat. Lycan
yeah.
Ricky.
We
You
might
bite the Ricky, and then you get the Ags, and then you get all the crits. That shit's actually insane.
Interesting. Well, we're definitely not going to see Lycan obviously banned out here by Spiderpigz, but they're spending quite a lot of reserve time just for this final ban in the second phase. Obviously, Chicken Fighters are most likely going to need their 5-1 and their 2 as well, because this next Profit is most likely going to be laning together. Gives them a lot of kind of global potential. Profit can always TP in, and you never know where the Nyx is. And they ban out the Terrorblade themselves. With Chicken Fighters finishing off their ban
Interesting.
with the Storm.
TB. Hmm. I mean, it depends on the lane. You don't see the 5. I guess TB's not that weak of a lane. Into Mars.
Yeah, I mean
Hmm.
the thing about TB as well is he can just rotate the jungle like early on as well if he needs to. He doesn't always need to contest the lane
Yeah,
regardless of what the fight is.
Cloud cannot really invade the
There's a
jungle
Grimstroke
early on.
actually. Interesting. I was wondering if this hero was going to get seen at all actually in Europe. I know there's a few teams
Is
and
it
a
going to
few
be a Grimstroke
players.
mid?
I mean, if there's a
Is it going to
Grimstroke
be the
mid, I think I
Grimstroke
would
mid?
definitely be going crazy. And as I pick up the Ember here, which is a very quick response, but I am always thought that Grim kind of works well against the Ember, right? Ember has kind of low attack speed, doesn't always deal well with the spirit, and then obviously the
Mm-hmm,
binding from the
mm-hmm.
ulti as well. But just finishing off on the point on Grimstroke, I know hero like players like Insania really loves this hero, and Liquid were playing it even last patch when the hero was barely seeing any play at all. Got some a few buffs
Well,
in
it's
this
just
patch.
Insania though. He's one of the ego drafters. When he thinks something's good, he'll just keep picking it over and over again, even if no one else thinks it's good.
But here is
He's the ego drafter.
here is the partner, I guess, with the Grimstroke. But I was just gonna say, like, I think Grimstroke did get a few buffs in this patch, but his Inkswell got nerfed in terms of its max damage, which I'm surprised about. The hero has like one of the worst win rates of all the heroes in Dota, and they ended up sort of nerfing his damage. Obviously, they buffed his base attack range and a few others in terms of cooldown and mana cost. But interesting to
I
sort of
think
see
it's
how it goes.
definitely one of the higher skill supports to
Mm,
utilize properly, like knowing who to silence, when to silence, so it's hard to
for
kill.
sure,
Yeah,
and I guess
getting the ulti off on the right people,
it works well against the
inks on
Prophet
the
as
right
well,
person.
right?
Yeah,
Then he needs to wave clear in the early levels in the wave, so it makes sense
yeah,
with a
and
different
strong.
pick.
It's definitely strong in lane against Prophet because you get the extra ink soul damage off the
Exactly.
treants if he doesn't micro them properly.
Same goes for the Stroke of Fate as well. Can just kill the treants. But we see Invoker picked up here
That's
as
literally what I just
no. You
said.
said the Inkswell, bro, which is the E.
Did I say ink soul?
Yeah.
Well, ink soul doesn't do bonus damage to treants, does it? But kudos.
Well, but you can, yeah. Anyway, Invoker picks up here as well, which is interesting, right? Because it's kind of showing that it's probably going to be an Ember safe lane in mid Invoker and a Prophet off lane, but that kind of would mean that Chicken Fighters are going to last pick their 5, which is almost unheard of, I think. So I'm wondering to sort of see whether this next might be
Could
5,
be
maybe a 4
Could be
or
a
5
five
Prophet.
profit.
Yeah, that's
Five
obviously.
profit could definitely be strong into Clockwork.
Well, and then we're
Kind of
thinking like
counters a lot of what he wants to do.
a 4 or 3 Invoker then, so kind of interesting. Um,
I mean, it could always be, four Invoker, four Ember, these things that aren't, ideal,
yeah,
but they could. Like, it's not awful to have these, but it's not ideal. And most likely they want. I think Supreme, he's their mid laner, right? He plays a
hmm
lot of Invoker.
yeah,
Charlie definitely plays Ember as well.
yeah. I guess it gives them a
Although I feel
little bit
like
of flex, but
I just don't really rate Ember this patch. I think Ember's definitely the weaker of the three spirits
hmm
at the moment.
the 4 spirits.
I think because okay, well, as the cause, the three, I guess a spirit can be
Stricken
fifth
core
core
as
as
well.
well.
But go on.
Out of the Ember, Void, Storm that mostly get played by most mid laners,
hmm
I think Ember is definitely the weakest
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it got a lot on nerves over the last few patches, isn't it? Really, and it hasn't really been
Mm,
changed. But they banned out Broodmother though, so it kind of indicates that this Invoker is going to be mid. And we did talk
yeah.
about how Ember can flex, but it's most likely going to be a safe
They
lane
don't have.
Ember, right?
Well, it's not actually technically. It's not really a flex because they don't have last pick anyway.
Yeah, true,
So
true.
unless they're gonna pick another flex hero
I mean, but so
and
how
then
how
switch
do
it around
you think
last
this
minute, but I
profit is
doubt
going to be
that.
5 then? Do you think? And then so they're gonna
I would
last
imagine
pick
so.
the offlaner. Yeah. Okay. So Prophet, Ember
I would
most likely
imagine
lane
so.
together. Invoker's gonna be mid because no other reason why we'd probably ban out the Brood otherwise. And as for Spiderpigz, they need either a mid or carry depending on whether they want to play monking into the Invoker matchup. Um, is
I guess he's probably gonna go Exalt Invoker.
mhm.
I would imagine with these teammates. Although Crosswax is very strong against Mars and Clock. Is also decent against Green and Monkey, Tornado to remove Inkswell, remove Jingu.
Yeah. No, it's definitely possible. So we
Let's see, one thing
think.
I think is
Go
people underestimate when you play against Monkey is heroes that kill trees.
on. Mhm.
Like it's kind of like a, some people see it as like a meme thing, or cut down monkey trees. But I personally think it's a big way to counter monkey is to have heroes that easily cut down trees or large areas of trees. I mean, Ember is not so ideal with having to use your remnant to kill the trees, but it's profit
Mhm.
can definitely
Yeah. No, for
it's
sure.
definitely nice. It's definitely nice to always have something
Yeah, with the spawn treants for sure. But they end
because
off
it's just a free
the
kill.
draft with the offlane Venomancer, and then Spiderfigs finish off with the kind of the usual counter pick of Invoker with the Conquer, which is another hero that has a very low win rate actually. But it's interesting to sort of see. Is
Yeah, I have not been seeing much Kunkka recently.
no, I mean,
Well, Kunkka's less of a pub hero, more of
true,
a
true. I think
ever since they changed the Tidebringer
I
denies.
do like the Venomancer here, though. I mentioned it in one of the last casts where Monkey King in the safe lane is incredibly strong naturally, right? But the one thing he really does suffer against is like these ranged cores that either he can't get the Jingu stacks off, and he does feel threatened by just continual right click. And I think Veno is one of the best to deal with it. Obviously, Monkey King does have the Inkswell though, so it has ways of kind of getting in top of this Veno, and if he gets on top of him, he's probably going to be able to kill him. But
I can definitely see this Veno feeding this game.
yeah.
Because Veno is a low move speed, low HP, low arm. Actually, his arm is pretty average, but he's low HP, low move speed hero with 4 Nyx
Hmm.
who can provide a short duration stun.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
go
if
on.
Monkey skills his W early, they can definitely get kills on this Veno. Or
Interesting.
even without that, with a clock rotation, it could be just free kills on this Venomancer, I think.
Yeah. So just from the overall draft, there's any team that you favour straight off from the bat?
I really like Monkey this patch, and I don't particularly rate Ember. So just based on that alone, I feel like I'm favoring the Monkey team.
Okay, Spiderpigz.
Invoker though is the X factor here.
Yeah,
If their lanes go decently and they get, I see what he gets level 1. He does get Quas, so maybe it's gonna be Quas works.
interesting. And talking that matchup, it's going to be Conquer versus Invoker. I mean, normally we'd used to see Conquer kind of do so well against Invoker, right? Because of the cleave from the Tidebringer enemy. But Conquer has really been kind of poor and not seen too much. Is that still how the matchup goes between Invoker and Conquer, or?
I mean, I think it's more even than it used to be because obviously, well, it's quite a long time ago, but Kunkka can no longer deny with Tidebringer,
Hmm.
which used to be the main thing in the matchup. The Invoker, low base damage hero,
There is actually going
you
to
just
be a
get denied every creep.
smoke here. It's going to get popped by this Monkey King on Mischief, actually. I think that's going to be the it for it, and I don't think he's going to get caught out.
He
Nyx
didn't see,
is...
he only saw the
Yeah.
Nyx.
Yeah. It does actually
The
only...
level 1, I guess,
Yeah.
with a Gale, they can kill anyone
Yeah,
that they
but I
catch.
think Monkey King knows what's up there.
Does Nyx do they even see him?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's total the fog.
They
Dire vision.
Conquer is here as well, but they're going to place the wall down. I think that's going to be it. I think this is one thing that we definitely see a lot from the pro teams now. It's even trickling down to pubs as well, where both teams will just kind of
Yeah,
zerg
level
one
1.
bounty room. Yeah, yeah. And then they'll just
That's the UCL strat. They're copying us.
for sure, for sure. And they just set up, obviously, and both teams are just happy to commit. Although Clockwork is actually pretty deep. Going to try and snipe this bounty, but I think he might pay for it with his life. Doesn't even get a
He didn't
chance to
even
get
get
it
it.
either. So this is going to be bad. They're going to be spilling up the chains on the Ember, and he's going to die. Most likely going to be giving first blood over to the Ember, of all people. And yeah, so that's going to be a first blood going
That
over to
was
Chicken
not
Fighters.
a very good play from Mr. Clockwork there.
Yeah.
Especially
Ember is
considering
going to be
Monkey
late to the
should
lane,
have
though.
he should have communicated that
Yeah. Ember is going to have to TP, yeah.
he's gonna TP.
He's
No,
gonna
he's
TP.
just gonna TP.
Fine.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't die, which I highly doubt he will, it should be fine.
It's going to be fine. And he's already currying himself a magic stick as well, so he's going to be pretty handy in this lane already. So it's going to be Clockwork Mars versus Ember and Prophet. Clock's going to go in on here, but I think this is going to be trading up with Farm here. And Clockwork might be in trouble if he gets blocked up with his Treants, but he's going to be fine. He has a salve as well. In other lanes, we have the
interesting choice in this lane.
They have the Invoker and Conquer mid. Go on, what was you going to say?
One rush with the first blood gold is an interesting choice in this lane to me.
Why?
I feel like Clock and Mars are not going to be spamming that many spells. And with the extra first blood gold, he could have got something like Chainmail or maybe just Boots.
What about the God's Rebuke?
Or maybe an early bottom.
Don't think it's value, no?
Yeah.
With the amount of God's Rebuke from the Mars, don't think it's valuable enough?
He's not using that many. It was a Chainmail. I feel like Chainmail, you're going to buy phase boost anyway. Chainmail, first item, is very strong on most side lanes.
No, okay, yeah. Talking about the other lanes, though, we've got Invoker.
The one is not bad. He has first blood gold. He can
do whatever he wants with it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
In other news, though, it's actually going to be a sentry here placed. Konga's going to try and get the D1, and he does actually in the middle lane. And so his lane's getting better than it already is. 9 for 4, 10 for 4 now compared to the 4 and 2. But I guess this is expected, right? Konga is favoured, and then with the Quas Exort, I mean, Invoker has very little base damage to contest this Conquer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can't imagine Invoker will be able to stop this Conquer farming much at all.
And then down bottom as well, we have the Veno Nyx lane versus the Grim Stroke Monkey. So you mentioned actually on the outset of the draft about how this Veno is very susceptible to kind of getting dove here. But I mean, how do you see this lane?
He has 218 move speed.
Yeah. How do you see this lane going though, like if all things considered?
I think Monkey should be fine in this lane until Veno has more points in W and his wards.
Yeah.
I think once he hits level 3 wards, it becomes quite hard for Monkey to stay in lane, especially 1v1.
Yeah.
I think Grimstroke should... Personally, when I play carry and I have a enemy as a weak offlaner, I would prefer my 5 to spend more time focusing on the offlane instead of just trading with the 4. Because this Nyx cannot really do much in this lane other than trade with Grim.
Yeah, so then obviously that leaves the Veno versus Monkey, right? Which is going to be in favour. Although talking of this Monkey, he might be in trouble actually. He got a nice stun out on the Nyx, and that's going to give him enough time to back off there. But I like the idea though from the Monkey King trying to find himself in the trees, and actually he's still manning up actually onto this Veno. Veno is 4 sticks away from Jingu actually. He does get another stun though from the Nyx, and that's going to provide enough escape for the Veno there. It doesn't have a salve unless there's one coming on the Kurian, and it's not actually. So he's going to have to run all the way back to base actually. So
there's 300 move speed. I really like the boots first on Monkey into this lane. Yeah. Because that's all the only way Veno can survive this lane is...
Oh, there's going to be a big pull-off here as well, actually. That's going to be a lot of creeps denied to this offlane, actually. And the Nyx can't contest either, because Veno is not there. So that's a big win in this safe lane just from this early engagement, for sure. In the meantime, though, the Nyx and the Clockwork were looking to kind of posture for the runes here. Clockwork was forced to pick up the region. There was a treant there, but... Elsewhere though, actually Mars is a little bit under pressure here. Clockwork was roaming for the runes, and as a result I think Mars is going to go down as well. Yeah, so it's a 1 for 2 engagement there, and comes out ahead for Chicken Fighters again.
I think this kill top was started off by Clockwork taking some questionable trades against the Nature's Prophet. I think when you play against the Prophet 5, it's kind of similar to a Techies, wherein you kind of get baited into taking trades with them. And when they can just instantly either, a techie suicide, similar to like a Spirit Breaker as well, You take a bad trade, you lose half your health. This Prophet can just TP base and instantly come back to lane. Whereas when you're playing Clockwork, you can't do the same, and then you kind of get stuck in lane where you can't really contribute anything because your health's too low. And when you start on these fours that start boots, you don't have much regen in the lane as well. So he kind of got stuck for a while, and then that led to, I think, kind of culminated
nice
in the
stun by
Mars
the Nyx
death.
there. It's gonna get himself the bounty rune. Clock's gonna try and mug him off with the old battery assault, but he's gonna drop down the spray, and that's gonna be that. So it's only 5 minutes in, but a small early lead for the Chicken Fighters with about less than 1,000 gold net worth.
Just the kill gold.
Yeah, Invoker is doing okay though mid lane. I mean, obviously he's like 10 CS down, but I think he's done okay considering he wasn't really expected to do much with mid. I mean,
I think you're expected to farm relatively decently in this matchup nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you can't stop Kunkka farming.
Yeah.
He's just gonna free farm. It's kind of what this hero does in this matchup.
I mean, do you expect Kunkka to?
He has the double null blades. Like he has plenty of damage.
Yeah.
Kunkka can't really deny.
I mean, do you expect Kunkka to rotate? Actually, in the meantime, Jesse does go down actually. So it's the first kill for Spiderpigz there. I didn't actually get a chance to catch that, but he looks very, very deep actually, and looks like he got caught out by the Clockwork of all heroes. I was just gonna say, do you think you expected, as we see actually, Mars is gonna lose his courier, might lose his life as well actually, depending how good of these treant blocks are. Mars is gonna get the spear off on the Ember though, and I think that's gonna result in Mars being okay, all things considered. But I was gonna say, yeah, do you think we expect Kunkka to rotate, as Clockwork's gonna be mid to refill his bottle?
Where would he rotate? I think it's hard for him to rotate into the Ember lane, so he would have to rotate bottom. I mean, if he goes bottom, it's an easy kill on Venno. But it depends whether it's worth it. He can just free farm repeatedly in lane till he gets his first item. I don't really know if it's worth him rotating to this Venno.
So Mars does TP top, trying to stop the pressure from this catapult push from Chicken Fighters. I think he's going to do a good job. Clockwork is rotating as well. We might see a TP rotation from Kunkka perhaps. They do get the battery assault actually onto the Prophet. Kunkka is TPing as well as expected. I mean, they don't even need him actually, and he does stop it as a result. And they do defend the tower, but the tower is very low. Might even go into deny range actually, and it will from that last siege creep. And they're pinging it out actually. They do get the deny in the end. So first tower down by Chicken Fighters, but it is actually taken down bottom lane as well. Actually, they're going to engage onto this Venomancer. Again, a lovely stun by Era. Actually, he's going to save Jesse. In the meantime, Invoker does TP in. Actually, they're going to try and get a kill back onto this monkey. Oh, nice Mischief job actually, but it's not enough, I don't think, with the TP from Prophet as well. And he does end up going down.
God, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was going to say that I feel like the more likely rotation was going to be Invoker bottom with a Prophet TP to kill monkey.
You would have sounded like a Prophet.
I didn't want to interrupt you again.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I was going to.
Thanks, bro.
Because I feel like it's an easy setup for a kill. All they need is
talking of another kill actually, I think Kunkka might be going down as well actually. Loses all his mana. He's pretty tanky. He does get the Kunkka run buff as well. 2 TPs coming in from Chicken Fighters, but he's still most likely gonna go down. He does die from the end on the Ember Spirit. Gets the really nice dodge out as well. And here comes the Mars ult. He's gonna trap in the Nyx assassin. I think Nyx is gonna survive. He dodges the stun actually. I think he still might be going down, but I don't know if they've got anything else to throw in actually. Prophet's gonna TP in as well, and I think Monkey might be dying as well. Disaster for the side of Spiderpigz. It's gonna go from bad to worse, as well as Mars gets stunned out by the Nyx and ends up getting caught out as well. Oh dear.
It's just painful. It's just painful to watch that series of events. It's just painful.
Yeah. And with Venno,
I think this TP from Monkey he's definitely regretting his decision.
Venno does get caught
because level
out.
6 Monkey.
There's still more action going on actually. They do the X-Mux on the Venno. I think they're going to kill the Clockwork, and actually, yes, even he gets the deny up actually from the Grim. And I think with TP from Kunkka, that he is going to be able to defend this tier 1. As in the meantime, they do lose the tier 1 bottom after all that chaos going on.
Yeah. I was going to say, this Monkey King, I think he's definitely going to be regretting that TP mid. Because as a level 6 Monkey with no items, you may be strong in a lane scenario, but in an actual team-on-team engagement. Oh, Kunkka.
Yeah, it does get the boat off. It's going to hit Kunkka. I don't know if they can get anything out, but yeah, Kunkka is very tanky actually. Yeah. It's gonna get chipped down, but
as I was
it's
saying,
fine.
Monkey King in this kind of early team engagement, he is really not that strong.
Yeah.
So I
It's
think he would have much preferred to TP bottom and defend his tower and keep farming instead of
Ember
joining this
might
fight where
be. It's fine actually. He has a remnant way. No, you're right. And
even if he didn't die in the fight, he's still not getting much, and he's also not
yeah.
providing much at the same
So
time.
much action actually out from the side of Chicken Fighters. They're going to catch out this clockwork. There's a TP in from Nyx. Nice double stun on the Kunkka. Mars does get in with the ultimate. He's going to try and beat down on this Ember. Stun on triple heroes actually, and with the Ember is going to go down in the
Big
end.
kill.
So there's a lot of brawling actually, but it goes in the way of chicken. I was going to say Chicken Pigs there, but Spiderpigz as they trade clockwork for Ember Spirit, and they're still trying to defend this T1 tower actually, but they're running as many heroes as they can from Chicken Fighters.
All these fights are just for this tier 1 tower.
Yeah.
Oh,
Splits
tornado.
Miss Tornado mid
His
lane.
Invoker is quite low.
Yeah.
No
mana from the Kunkka or from the Mars as well, and I think they're going to be able to get this tower. It depends if Spiderpigz can deny it. He goes for it on the Grimstroke, but he's going to die. He's going to pay for it. So, I mean, decent start from Chicken Fighters, though. End up taking the tier 1 mid and bottom, and it's only 11 minutes in. There's a lot of action.
These engagements are definitely favoring the...
Yeah.
This Mars's game has disappeared. They're just gone. At this point, he's only level 7. He is not looking at any item, really. He's going to queue up the Blink, which I think, when you're in this kind of position as an offlaner, that is the best thing you can hope for, and just hope for get a good engagement, because you're not getting any kind of aggressive item.
Yeah.
Any, like, you know, snowball item, such as like an early hood or something.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a smoke actually by the side of Spiderpigz. Might be able to catch out this Ember.
Look for a hook shot.
Monkey King is here on the trees. He isn't spotted out by Charlie.
This is a hard kill. They're going to have to hit like a hook
lovely hook shot. Can they do anything more though? And yeah, it wasn't perfectly chained there.
Yeah.
And
they stunned at the same time.
Yeah, this is a PG stream, please, Joe. Keep your language to a minimum. Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir.
My apologies. Bleep it out.
Yeah, very important, man.
I think the only way they get that kill is if they hook into Boundless, into Cog, into Grim Silence. But even then,
it's going to be difficult.
Ambitious.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think they need to make that ambitious play, right? Like you said, this Mars is having a really bad time. But yeah, so when those smoke ganks do miss, though, and they don't connect, it feels really bad, right? Like you're smoked, and it just fouls, and the Ember just gets away, gets the haste.
Even if it's not bad, even if it's not that bad, it just feels bad, you know, psychologically.
Yeah, definitely. Also, though, in terms of
Although I
items,
think the later this game goes, I don't think it's that terrible for Radiant. I think Monkey King is arguably one of the strongest late game heroes, in my opinion. Like, full build Monkey King, it's so hard for any cores to really fight into.
Yeah.
Like they get hit by with dags, it's so hard for them to walk in and get hit by it.
Yeah, definitely.
They're gonna try again.
And they're gonna try again.
This time they get the silence off.
They do get the silence off, but it's running out in a sec. And with the haste rune actually that he bottled up earlier, he's gonna be fine. And they might be able to turn it here as well. Actually, his clockwork is looking a little bit in trouble. But Venno does get the X marked off actually, and he might fall as a result. Invoker is here though. Tornado onto the Conquer. Monkey King goes back in with the Inkswell actually. And now actually with that Mars ult, he gets blows up the Invoker. And that might be it. Nyx is here in the background as well. It's going to get the stun on the Kunkka. Kunkka's pretty low from all things considered. With the Ember Sleight of Fist, he's going to go down as well. And it's a 4v2 right now. So Monkey King's got to try and man up. The spear does miss onto the Venno as well. And this Monkey King is definitely falling. But I don't think they can catch the Mars as Monkey King just sacrifices his life in the end. Let's have a quick look at some of the items actually. Invoker does end up going down, but he goes for the Witchblade, which is kind of interesting. A new item, obviously, in the new patch. What's any thoughts on Witchblade?
I think it's. I don't play much Invoker, but I've seen a couple pro players build this on Invoker. As used to see people go earn Spirit Vessel on Invoker, but I've seen a lot more recently the Witchblade instead, because obviously the damage over time procs your Cold Snap the same way in Earn would, and it's also just a lot more damage. So it's kind of a replacement for that. Like in a game where you don't really need a Vessel, I think it's nice.
Interesting.
It is a nice replacement.
Yeah, I didn't think about
Because
that
kind of all the stats you
interaction.
need, right?
Yeah, I didn't think about the interaction with
Intelligence, armor.
Cold Snap though.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think that is the main reason.
This is why we have you on, Joe. You know,
it gets
you just
picked
you give me them 10k of my insights. You know that my small brain just
True.
cannot comprehend. So it's going to be a smoke here
I
from
think the
Chicken
most
Fighters
interesting
actually.
item
Oh, hold
we're
that
seeing,
thought.
they're going to see this game is...
Oh, actually, Nyx is
Hold
going to be a hook shot actually onto the Invoker, who drops down the Grimstroke very low, does end up dying to the Prophet ulti. There's a nice combination onto the Invoker, and everything's thrown down onto him. He's going to die. Clockwhite's going to survive actually from the God's Rebuke. So they trade out the Invoker for the Grimstroke actually, and that's going to be it actually. Considering Veno was bot actually. That wasn't too bad for Spiderpigz actually.
It is interesting that they're playing away from the Veno with the mech.
True.
You'd think they'd want to be grouped around him with heroes such as Invoker and Nature's Prophet who can quickly traverse the map, going to meet him instead of the other way around. But
there still might be more engagements away from the Veno actually. Nyx was looking for the jump on Kunkka, but instead Kunkka actually gets the X-Moft on to this Nyx, but there is no follow-up, so he's going to be fine. But yeah, so talking about other items, there's obviously the mech from the Veno and the BKB.
I was going to say, the most interesting item is this Kunkka has Orchid queued up.
Oh yeah, I didn't even spot that actually. What do you think of that? It's obviously it was probably in response to trying to catch this Ember, right? But Ember is closing in on the BKB, so
personally,
be...
I don't like it. I think by the time he has this Orchid, I don't think it's going to have the impact he wants it to. I mean, let's see, what is Ember buying? Ember and Invoker are both going for the second item BKB. Obviously, he's going to have it before.
Invoker is going to get initiated on nice tornado there, catches out the Monkey King, but a Kunkka boat is going to land on top of him and he's going to die once more. The mech comes in just in time actually and he gets away with the Ghost Walk. Huge plays by Chicken Fighters, and it's going to look from bad to worse as well. TB is going to come out from Kunkka but gets stopped by the Cold Snap. Mars does get the ultimate off, but they're going to lose the Clockwork, they're going to lose the Grim, and really big fight from Chicken Fighters. And although Invoker does end up dying, it was enough space to turn that team fight in the end.
He died to Stroke of Fate. And then, oh, there you see the power of the mech.
Yeah.
It completely turns the fire around. Gets some 3 big kills. Further delays this Orchid on Kunkka. Yeah. I would imagine this Orchid, they're trying to go for some timing with Mars Blink, Monkey Ags, and then Orchid before they have BKBs, and they're going to try and win.
Oh, it does have the blink on the Mars, but couldn't get the spear off actually. I think that was the first reveal of the blink actually. It wasn't very successful, and now they're going to just poke back at this Mars and going to try and threaten maybe this Clockwork as well. Monkey King isn't here, he's far away. He's going to try and join, but I think Clockwork might be falling. No, he does get saved by the Kunkka turret, but this tower looks like it's going to be falling though. Veno's got all his wards down, and with Prophet and Invoker here, this tower is going to be falling before the 20-minute mark as well, so they might be looking for... here comes the line drawn by the Ember to try and secure this outpost as well. Veno already starts his TP bot. The BKB coming out from the Invoker as well. But yeah, go on. What was going to say?
If I was this Monkey King, I would be feeling bad in this game. Yeah. You've lost 4 of your towers already before you even finished your Ags.
Yeah. And
you kind of can't really do anything about it. Your hero doesn't really provide much in these 5v5 engagements. He doesn't even have his ult skilled yet. So he kind of just has to sit and farm and just watch his towers die one by one.
Nyx is in the background actually. Clockwork does miss his ulti onto him, but they're going to catch him with the Ghost Ship as well as the Mars ulti. That's a lot committed just for a Nyx actually, and Chicken Fighters are going to try and re-engage considering that they use so much. Monkey ulti is ulti actually. They do kill the Grimstroke very quickly. Monkey King is very low himself actually. I think he's definitely going to go down. Yeah, they're all going to go down. Mars might be fine because he's behind his tier 3, but yeah, really good in understanding by Chicken Fighters there, knowing that they committed so much on the Nyx there, and just to re-engage. And he says, nice. Very cool. Very nice.
I was saying I don't particularly like the Orchid on Kunkka, but at the same time, I'm not sure what else he could buy.
Yeah.
Like maybe he could, like any other item he could buy that I think would be a game-changing item is going to be the same price, and so he wouldn't even have it yet.
Yeah.
I think it's just really hard.
for sure. And the outpost is taken by Chicken Fighters, so they're going to be having that up. Ember looking to try and protect his ward and maybe get these bounty runes, but he's by himself. Does have the BKB delivered though. Invoker looks gone. So
one thing that I think Radiant will think about if they ever look back on this game, a lot of their heroes, and you're seeing this in a lot of the fights where they kind of just dump all their spells on one person for one kill.
They're going to dump all their spells on that one person. That one person is going to be Veno. They are going to kill him, but again, if Chicken Fighters are in the area, they might try and trade some hero for this Veno, but they are going to disengage, seeing as Nyx is top. But yeah, as you said, like they feel like they have to commit so much, right?
A lot of their heroes are kind of like, they use their round of spells, and that's like their damage done. And then after that, it's really awkward. Like Kunkka, Clockwork, Mars, once you've used your spells, your damage output kind of just disappears in a fight. Yeah. It's kind of awkward for them to actually try and do damage. So yeah, as you're seeing a lot of these fights, it's kind of just one person on Dire is tanking every spell and dying, and then everyone else is just free to do whatever they want.
Yeah, and now with the BKB as well from the Ember, and I think there's a BKB nearly finished by the Invoker as well. The kind of the heroes they can choose or to go on really are definitely getting thin, right? Veno is probably the only decent target, but even he is pretty tanky. So
he has Force and Greaves.
Yeah,
they can definitely burst him because he's still very low HP hero.
Yeah.
If they chainstone him properly, they can burst him.
In terms of signs of life, they've got the Ags now on the Monkey King, so there's that. And I think the Orchid is finished now on the Congo. He's going to be building towards a BKB himself. Mars does have the blink.
Ags and Monkey doesn't really help them fight though.
Yeah.
He needs like +1. He needs like BKB at least. He doesn't even have. Surprising to me that he doesn't have the. Maybe he'll buy it now. The Orb of what's it called?
Yeah, Corrosion. All talking of.
I think with the Ags.
Clock's gonna go down without anything else. Yeah, go on with the Ags. Well, let's get spotted actually by the.
Corrosion is very strong with Monkey with the Ags. It kind of enables you to fight, even if you don't want it in the lane. I think it's strong just to buy afterwards.
I mean, surely,
definitely want it.
Surely though, you normally do get it mainly if you can benefit from the lane though, right? Like, and his laning stage obviously didn't go very well. Like, lost his tower very early on. And is it something that you really go back for? Because if you go back for it, then you're like delaying your eggs like even longer, right? So it's not something that.
No, after the eggs.
Oh, okay, so you want to finish the eggs and then go back for it. I mean, is it that valuable though? I mean, it is good. Talking of actually,
I think he's underrating how valuable.
Nyx is gonna get.
I think his itemization in this game is definitely difficult.
Nyx is gonna go down, but they might trade the Conquer for it. Clockwork does TP in actually. He gets a hook shot onto the Prophet, but it's not a hero that is really particularly strong on Monk. He's gonna get the ultimate off actually, but they're gonna instantly back out. Gonna most likely lose the Prophet as well. Actually, I think they get saved by the mech from the Veno there. BKB popped by the Ember Spirit, ends up killing the Clockwork's most likely gonna kill the Monkey King as well. And there's just too much value and too much items on the side of Chicken Fighters there to really kind of contest. And godlike already on Charlie.
So I guess another scenario where this Monkey is wishing he just stayed top and farmed the waves instead of TPing to this fight.
Yeah.
Because once again, all he has is Tread's Ags. Like, he is not doing anything in this fight, really.
Yeah.
And without any kind of orb or scaddy or anything, he throws down his ulti and they just walk away.
Yeah.
They just don't walk into it, or they just walk out of it. And then his hero, he just kind of stands there and waits to die once again. Just a sad game for him.
Very sad.
There's just not much. I felt there's just not much he could have done this game on the Monkey.
Yeah. So, I mean, does this come back to, like, draft aspect more, or how the lanes went altogether?
I mean, the lanes are kind of a result of the draft.
Clockwork is going to go in on the Invoker. He does have BKB, but does not have the time to get off. So, a decent smoke from the side of Spiderpigz, actually. Yeah, it's the first kill they've got, really, that hasn't been almost immediately retaliated by the side of Chicken Fighters, actually. I mean, they have very limited control in terms of the map control, but kill does get something.
I think the main thing that this game was obviously still 1-13. I think the main thing that went wrong for them this game was this top lane. This Ember had completely free game. Mars did not have. Oh, Mars got decent farm at the start of the lane, but this Ember had a completely free game. He's kind of just been the person running the show.
Yeah.
I think they got a couple kills on Monkey in bottom, and it kind of really slowed him down to a point where he can't really
Nix
do
is going to
anything.
engage on this Grimstrike. I don't know if he has the damage, but with the Brothel, he most likely does. One more right click is going to secure the kill. Clockwork is here with Conquer, but they know Ember and Invoker are making their way out, so they're just going to have to watch their Grimstrike die and walk back to base, unfortunately. Sad days for Spiderpigz. I haven't seen...
In a similar way, you
Gone.
if Radiant, I think the drafts is definitely not bad for Radiant. I think if their lanes, if they won their lanes, you can easily see how the Radiant heroes can just chain kill after kill after kill on Dire.
Yeah.
Like this Dire lineup fell behind. It's really hard for them, I think, to make plays, like to come back. Like these heroes from behind, they could have had a serious lack of damage and control to actually try and find kills. But it just happened that the kind of 10 to 15 minute period was kind of dominated by Dire.
Yeah.
Which led to all the towers, obviously all the towers falling, which is the Venno profit power.
Yeah, and talking of towers falling, this catapult alacrity'd up actually, and they're going to lose the tier 2 mid. They're going to jump in on the Ember, really nice dodge actually. And Ember does get away.
Still had BKB anyway, he was fine.
Yeah, I think with that last outer tower, they're going to just walk towards Roche actually, and then look to go higher ground after that. I mean, Spiderpigz do have a decent high ground defense though, like with Monkey King and Mars and Conquer, but it's going to be some kind of miracle, I think, to really come back from this, but we shall see. Obviously, Spiderpigz do know what's going on with the Clockwork
If Monkey steps up to defend his high ground, he's going to die.
Yeah.
They just need to hit with Venom wards and Alacrity Invoker.
Mars might get set up upon actually as well. No, let's get the blink away. Profit though, oh no, Monkey King, you were split too far out of base. He's going to get the TP off and he is going to be fine actually, so smart decision and quick reflexes actually to TP straight away. There was no stun.
He might die in Fountain or when the vessel wears off.
Oh, okay.
He buys a Fairy Fire out of fear.
Very nice.
Because with the vessel, he was taking a lot more damage.
Yeah, I didn't see, I wasn't watching it, but I'll take your word for it. And there's going to be pause. Sort of take stock. Oh, pause and then go.
Goes from the
Oh yeah, imagine so Dire pause it and then they immediately say go. It's just like, yeah, go. That's funny. Well, we are back underway. But remember guys, just a quick update. This is the best of 3 between Spiderpigz and Chicken Fighters, and this is only game 1. So even if Chicken Fighters do secure this win, there's still going to be another game. So keep that in mind.
See, there's a classic case of the Profit 5 with the same net worth as the enemy carry.
Yeah, like whenever I play
Definitely
Profit, like,
not the
this
best
is what I
side.
want, man. I can just like push waves by myself, farm jungle. Like I'm actually just calling
the puppy
jungle.
Profit,
Clockwork does,
net worth.
yeah, does jump in on this Venno, but he's gonna jump in and immediately die. Actually, it's gonna be a boat coming out onto this Venno, but he's very tanky. BKB popped by the Invoker as well, but there's a BKB on Conquer and he's surviving as well. Venno is eventually going to fall. Ember does jump back in. The BKB is slowly going to end actually, and as a result I think Conquer is going to die when it does end, and he does. They're going to catch the Sprout on the Mars actually. He does get the spear off, but it's not enough for him to survive, and the Mars goes down.
I think that was a last gasp effort from Radiant there. That was their double BKB fight.
Yeah.
And they still all die, and they only get the Venno.
Yeah.
It is looking
pretty
very
grim.
Dire for them.
Yeah. Wow.
This Invoker doesn't even need his spells. With this BKB Wishblade, he just BKB'd and stood there and right-clicked the Kunkka down. All he did in that fight was stand there and right. They BKB, but these are very low armor heroes.
Yeah.
Obviously Mars has the bulwark, but not always reliable. So in this Invoker and Ember, with the Deso, with the Alacrity, they kind of just right-click them down. There's, even with their BKBs, they just cannot stand and fight.
Yeah. Talking of Ember,
and obviously
actually,
they do no damage back.
Building towards an AC, but yeah, this Rax is definitely going to fall. Conquer is up in 5 seconds, but this Rax is already dead. They might be able to form some kind of defense on mid-Rax though, if Chicken Fighters do decide to walk up. They still have the Aegis on the Ember, so they have no real reason to stop. But
once this AC is finished, it would take a monumental throw for Dire to lose this game.
Yeah.
Because Radiant's damage output is just non-existent at this point.
Yeah.
They have Vlad's AC, they have Medallion, soon to be Solar Crest on Profit. I cannot envision Radiant having enough damage to kill more than one person.
Oh, actually
Clockwork.
missed him fight completely. Actually, Clockwork. So then Mars is going to die as well. I was looking at Monkey King because he's not joining this fight, and as a result, Monkey King's not going to be here to watch his team completely fall apart. They're going to be a buyback from Grimstroke, but with Clockwork dead, as well as Mars, who has no buyback. This Rax is going to fall. Clockwork does buy back, and they're going to have to try and throw anything they can at Chicken Fighters because this is their last stand, and they're going to have to do it without the Mars. There's still a BKB on the Ember. Monkey King does jump up. There's going to be a boat coming in. They're going to go all in on this Invoker. Can they kill him is the question. 4-star. He does get the pipe off as well. And I think he's going to be fine. He gets the Ghost Walk off, runs away from the Monkey King ult. He gets dropped actually from the tree. And Clockwork's going to go down. Invoker is still alive actually after all of this. And yeah, this game is over. Couldn't even kill the Invoker. And that is GG. So
it's been coming for a while.
Yeah. For sure, but that's game 1 though, guys. It goes the way of Chicken Fighters. And remember, I said it is a best of 3, so we'll have to wait and see to see what Spiderpigz are going to do for game 2. And just before we cut to a break, is there anything that that you think that Spiderpigz could have done differently in terms of the draft or play, or what went wrong basically for Spiderpigz?
I think their heroes, their lanes did not go well enough, and they got to a point where kind of their damage output just got counteracted by one mech on Veno, kind of counters their entire damage output, and they just didn't have enough damage to kill more than one core per fight. Whereas this Ember and Veno, and partly the Invoker, kind of just ran rampant. This Ember just killed everyone every fight.
Yeah, for sure.
One slight from Ember was kind of equal damage to the entire Radiant kind of spell chain.
For sure. Cool. So
and this monkey just never really got a chance to participate in this game at all.
Yeah. I mean, 0-6, very rough game for Fug on the Monkey King. But that's game 1, guys. We're going to come back and throw to a quick break, and then we'll have game 2 between Spiderpigz and Chicken Fighters. Remember, this is the closed qualifier to see who are the other 4 teams going to be joining Nigma, Secret OG, and Liquid in the European DPC League. See you soon.
I'm seeing people crying that you didn't put the net worth on.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty bad. Anyway.
I was looking at the net worth. I was just seeing this sad monkey compared to the Profit 5.
Welcome back, everyone. I think Joe is here as well. This is game 2 of the DPC European closed qualifier between Spiderpigz and Chicken Fighters. If you missed it, Chicken Fighters are 1 game up, and we are going into game 2. Joe, if you're still there, anything that you think that will be different from game 2 from game 1?
I think they won't pick Kunkka. I think they'll go for a different mid hero for Mr. Noob. More of a hero that can play make. If they're gonna pick a carry such as Monkey King, who needs his 1.5 to 2 items before he's really hits his power spike, relative to a Ember and an Invoker who don't really need many items to do whatever they want.
Yeah. Spiderpigz already they ban out the Nyx and the Prophet, and Chicken Fighters I think stay with their same bans as the Bat Rider and Puck. Obviously can't pick up the Nyx and the Prophet, which was the game they had in the first game.
Just ban the entire opener.
Yeah, if just Spiderpigz follow up with the ban on Invoker and Ember, we'll know what's up. But first pick, Keeper of the Light, and as we see Chicken Fighters pick up the Earth Spirit, I want to talk to you about this hero, Keeper of the Light. A hero that, say 6 months ago was incredibly popular, particularly with the Ember Spirit, and then it fell off a complete cliff. Didn't see Keeper for a long time. Obviously got changed in the new patch as we flying through the picks here, Void Spirit and Storm Spirit respectively. But
all the spirits.
Staying with the Keeper, what's your thoughts on this hero in the new patch?
I think Keeper is very strong as a position 5, especially in a organized professional environment that these teams are obviously playing under. The recall is extremely strong, as it used to be on the old Keeper.
Yeah.
And more recently with Chen, you see lots of teams utilizing these kind of ability to move your teammates quickly around the map.
Yeah.
is always powerful for setting up ganks. You can easily bait kills where people don't expect you to have multiple heroes instantly arrive.
Yeah.
And obviously the chakra is very strong as well. And the new spell, it can help you secure kills early on in this hero, which his weakness used to be he didn't really
Just
provide
running
much in lane
away.
other than a blinding light.
Yeah. Whereas now it's very difficult to kite him. I think it's sort of surprising how
Mm,
strong it is actually, particularly if you have the damage to follow up. They simply won't be able to run away.
yeah.
But
Heroes
mhm,
carries such as Juggernaut, I think, are especially strong in lane with Kotal,
yeah.
especially with the magic resistance reduction on the slow as well.
Ah,
Synergizes
yes,
nicely with those kind of
that's true.
heroes.
Actually,
An
I forgot that.
interesting thing I will say, Spiderpigz, the two heroes that they've picked are the two heroes that they banned last game. So they're obviously heroes that they rate very highly.
True. Yeah, for sure. That's a good point, actually. They do ban out the anti mage and the Lycan. A hero, I think we've talked about before. We talked about in game one in the draft. The Lycan, I think, is incredibly strong. I don't
Mm,
think we'll see this hero much play because of it. Probably it's going to be get banned for the most part. I think. Go on.
unless teams start to first pick it.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think it's a hero that any team is going to want
True.
to ban first
Yeah.
phase.
Yeah. I think
But
you're right.
people, maybe teams don't think it's strong enough to first phase at the moment
Yeah.
because there are heroes such as, say, a
Yeah.
Tidehunter, such as Ursa, I think is strong into Lycan.
Hmm.
Personally, I think Ricky is strong into Lycan because if you go the Battle Fury build, your tricks of the trade, you kind of clear out all his minions
Interesting.
in like one trick of the
And you have
trade.
the
I
cloud
think
as
is
well,
a
right? There's no MKB for the summons, so you can only do
well,
so
he
much.
can kind of just run away from that,
Yeah,
but
but you know what I mean, as in like he can't fight
yeah,
into the
yeah, yeah.
cloud. Yeah. So
I mean,
gives
at the
them.
same time, I guess Necro 3 is always strong into Ricky
Yeah.
because it's free reveal.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it can be decent.
Interesting.
I'm interested to see if either of these teams decide to pick the Ricky because I'm seeing the four heroes that they've picked up at the moment quite susceptible to his
True.
strengths.
True. It's a hero. I mean, predominantly we haven't really seen barely any Ricky. Maybe 6 to maybe 10 months ago, it used to be a good way of dealing with the
Mm,
Slark or the Morphling, but obviously kind of fell off.
I think
And it's not really a meme anymore, really. Like I've been seeing Tops have been
no,
playing it a lot on stream. It's a really high win rate in general,
yeah.
actually. And
I
you're
think
right.
definitely the new Ags is really amplified the power of the Ricky.
Yeah.
It's so strong. It's similar kind of to the monkey Ags where they change the Agnums, kind of makes the hero
Hmm.
a lot more viable in a lot more games as opposed to just a niche counter pick or like a lane win kind of hero.
For sure. For sure.
I think it's definitely strong as a late game carry.
Mhm. And
No more of this diffusal nullifier
someone in
manta kind of
chat
build.
said, "Can we get net worth, please?" Which sounds pretty funny to be honest. It's alright, guys. I'll show net worth like straight away. I promise. Um,
I was on that last. Maybe I should
Bro,
stream next
actually,
time.
you're going to be the one that needs to like. If there's anything in chat that needs to be said, you need to be the one to pull it up
Do
because
you want
I
me to read the
simply
chat?
can't alt
Okay.
tab, man. I'm streaming on like a
Dreader
laptop.
911 says, "Who's casting with you?"
Ah,
I feel
this.
like I've played with this guy before.
Yeah. This is yeah. I think you flamed him quite a few times actually, but
I
um,
know Flame.
yeah. Anyway, so we got the follow up
Similar
bans.
bans to last game in
Yeah,
second phase
Terrorblade
from
as
Spiderpigz.
well. They ban out.
Terrorblade, Lycan.
Interesting that they ban out anti mage, I guess, which it's obviously a great hero against Void Spirit, but considering Chicken Fighters have Storm Spirit themselves, I guess they just simply did not want to pick anti mage and didn't want to play against it. But definitely interesting as Chicken Fighters get rid of
I think
the
AM
Mars.
Kotal was an extremely weak
Yeah, that's
lane.
true. Actually, the 5.
It's easy
Yeah, it
to.
sounds pretty terrible. Actually, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Animage anyway, but yeah, the lane combos is definitely worse. And now that is surprising to me actually, because I mentioned in game one how I'm not a big fan. I love Grimstroke personally as a hero, but I don't think he's very good. Because even though he did get buffed a little
Right.
bit, but seeing him picked for the other team, even though Spiderpigz lost with it, maybe there's something. There is something about this hero, and I should be playing it a lot more. I only say that because I think last patch he was very very bad, and there was only very very few opportunities you could play him. He got buffed slightly with high attack range, but this nerf to the damage on the Inkswell I really thought would have been enough to not see him picked and competitive. But seeing it twice in the one series is maybe showing that he does actually have strength here. Interesting sort of see what carry it's going to be paired up with. Last time it was paired up with the Monkey King. Still a way of sort of jumping in and closing the gap
Mm.
as Spiderpigz pick up the Marana
It's
4.
nice with
Gone.
it's nice with Storm as well. It gives you a extra follow-up stun
Mhm.
after the vortex
For
to
sure.
get kills.
Yeah, no, that's
I think last game, I think there was kind of two main problems with the Grim last game. There's one, they didn't really have any synergy with the ulti,
mhm.
and two, they were just getting ran at.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for Grimstroke to use the spells properly when there's like a Nyx running into you. There's like Venom wards everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a it was really hard because you imagine the Grimstroke is a counter to Ember.
Yeah.
When you're getting ran at and this Ember is just dealing half your health with one slight,
Yeah.
it's
It's really
really
not.
hard for him to get his spells off properly.
So we see the Timber Saw, and again another Monkey King for the side of Spiderpigz. I was gonna say I really like this Timber Saw pick because it's similar to what they did last game on Chicken Fighters, where they picked up the Veno. It was always asking questions for the side of Spiderpigz. I think you always need to ways to
Mm-hmm.
deal with it, right? Like you pick this Timber Saw and it forces enemy teams to try and react to it. In this case, Spiderpigz are going to pick up the Monkey King, which in theory it kind of works well against the Timber Saw. But I know there's definitely Timber Saw players that like the matchup, just because Monkey King is quite susceptible.
Yeah, it definitely goes both ways.
Yeah, I think I was watching some stream. I think it was from Seb or saying that you can kind of max the Timber Chains and just sort of keep Monkey King low, so he can't man up against you, even with the
Yeah,
Jingu.
yeah.
But we'll have to sort of see how
Especially with
that
an
plays
Earth
out.
Spirit threat as well.
For sure. Yeah,
You
yeah,
can definitely
yeah. Can be
you can definitely
surprised
threaten the Monkey King early.
without doubt.
With a Colossal 5, he's not gonna provide much defensive
No, true.
capabilities in lane.
I think
I think
this is why it's gonna be nice as
another
well.
problem with
Go on.
Radiant.
That's
Sorry,
fun. You go.
I was gonna say that their support duo at the moment looks rather weak,
hmm
and they have zero reliable lockdown on their team at the moment
True.
against the Earth Spirit, Storm, and the Timber.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
Actually.
gonna need a strong playmaking offlaner, I think, to really round out their draft.
hmm Yeah, definitely. They ban out the Jug here, so obviously a good combination of the Grimstroke, something that Liquid would do a lot with the Mickey and Insania combination, as I mentioned
Mm,
before. I think it would have been decent. Obviously, they don't know what the offlaner was going to be, but Chicken Fighters does have last pick really, so they have to kind of cover their bases with these last two bans here, and Chicken Fighters take out the Underlord um, for the side of Chicken Fighters here. Go on.
I don't think Noob plays any of the cheese heroes because they could always put the Void Spirit off lane. But I don't think Noob plays any of those heroes. Let me check his Dota buff actually. I'm pretty sure he mostly plays Void Spirit, Lina,
Yeah, you mentioned
Puck.
actually in game one,
Yeah.
there's those kind of three heroes.
Apparently he plays a lot of Snapfire. Yeah, he's probably. I mean, I would assume he's going to be on the Void Spirit. He's that
So
kind of mid laner.
Sanking
Well, most.
would have been quite a nice probably offlaner to pull it all together, right? These kind of point stuns
Very
would have
true.
worked
Yeah.
well with the Mirana as well. But with Sanking gone, is there any offlane hero that you think would round out nicely?
Centaur is kind of awkward against the heroes.
Yeah,
Long wind up stun.
true.
What else is there?
I'm about to find out. Pick up the
Earthshake is not
Chaos
that
Knight
strong.
actually. Does have a way to follow up with the Mirana. Can be disjointed though from the Storm. Obviously not so much on the Timber, but
Mm-hmm.
can ball lightning away from it. But is a offlaner that I really think is incredibly strong actually. Higher base stats in general and does well against most carries. But we'll see what they pick. They pick a Troll Warlord actually, which is one hero that doesn't do
Not
very
that
well.
one.
Yeah, not that one. Not that one. Yeah, Troll Warlord, kind of very infamously very strong laner. Works well against a lot of melee offlaners like the Slardar that in theory is very good. But yeah, I think this Troll Grim is going to do a lot of work
It's a
actually
very strong
in this
line.
safe lane. Although I think Chaos Knight Mirana is a very strong combination as well. I think just from the mischance, like it's going to cause this Chaos Knight a lot of problems. But I definitely think the Grimstroke can feed in this lane quite easily though. The double stun combination from Mirana Chaos Knight can do a lot of work. But we'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
One thing I will say about this troll pick, Radiant has a lot of heroes that can kind of mess with Troll during his ulti if he doesn't have BKB.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have Blinding Light. They're gonna have Monkey King Mischief is really strong against Troll's ulti because it just instantly de-aggroes
Yes,
him if he's hitting you.
I heard that
They
actually.
have Mirana Leap.
Yeah,
They've got obviously Void Spirit, HUD. So it can be awkward. They can easily kite Troll out during his ulti before pre BKB.
yeah. I mean, there's a good point though as well. I know with the new Aghanim Scepter on Troll Warlord, I think we might be seeing that picked up here. I think it's almost a must when playing against a Keeper of the Light. I've played it myself, and I think like if you don't have a way of just instantly dispelling the new spell from Keeper of the Light, causes a real big issue. But even then, you said
I don't think he'll go Ags.
you know,
I think he'll just go like Battle Fury BKB.
he's gonna go.
I haven't been seeing many people buy it.
I'm saying he will. He's gonna buy Battle Fury, BKB, and Ags. And if you're wrong, you're gonna get kicked and never be ever spoken of again. So, yeah. I know. I think it's only that's one spell that's gonna get. Obviously, it can dispel the Jingu from Monkey King as well from his offensive axes, but that's very niche as well.
Void Spirit Shield.
Yeah, and the Void Spirit Shield. So there's a few dispels and
it can dispel the leap attack speed.
True, that is why he's gonna buy the eggs, guys. That is the sole reason. The position for Mirana needs to get rid of that attack speed on the limp.
I've mostly been seeing trolls as safe lane, not by Ags. I'm seeing a lot of mid trolls going Ags.
True.
But on the safe lane, I've been seeing more just Battle Fury, SNY, Basher, BKB. You know, the standard troll items.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, you are right though. I mean, like when you play troll, like a Basher is something that you really want, and it's like if you buy Ags, you're going to be delaying that, and so we'll have to see if he picks it up or not. But just to remind you guys, this is game 2 between Chicken Fighters and Spiderpigz. Chicken Fighters are 1 game up, and this is the bracket is on Liquipedia, but it's going to be it's an 8-team closed qualifier bracket with the top 4 teams going to be matched up, and there's going to be some early action actually. A smoke onto smoke here. They're going to jump straight onto the Grimstroke. The arrow does miss, but hits onto the Troll Warlord. There's going to be a massive ink swirl actually. If he can get off in the end, a massive stun from Monkey King, and in fact, I think the Chaos Knight is going to go down instead. Actually, the Grimstroke survives as well. Does the Earth Spirit 1 stack away? Grimstroke is going to be falling. He gets the Fairy Fire off as well. In the end, there's a 2-kill lead for the Chicken Fighters. Zimby is going to survive with enough of Fairy Fire as well. Oh my goodness. So that's 3 kills, and there might be more as well. They're going to try and go for this Monkey King, but he is going to be alright. And there's the tips, man. Those tips.
Oh, that was painful.
That is very painful.
They couldn't decide which person to focus down.
Yeah.
They were hitting the Grimstroke, hitting the Earth Spirit.
The arrow didn't connect with the Chaos Knight stun either.
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to go for a second kill of the arrow, or if he just missed it, but
yeah, well,
they just
regardless,
didn't commit fully onto the first kill.
Regardless, happened.
Chicken
Fighters do come out ahead with that 3-kill lead there. And
it was really
let me just check the net worth. Let's just check the net worth. Let's see, and it's a Storm leading with the net worth. Interesting. I can't. Oh wait, where are you pinging?
Dire jungle weather waters.
No, I can't see it. Oh, I didn't see this.
Okay, well you see where Dire placed this ward.
Yes, I do see it now.
When they were smoked, Charlie initially he ran right up against the cliff, and he broke that smoke. So when they walked up the hill, they already had full vision of them.
Interesting.
I'm not sure if that mattered because it was nighttime, but if it did, that was very nice.
Sure. It's going to be some early pressure on to talking of Charlie, but he's going to be fine. I think as well. Sort of used to push him back. But yeah, so it's going to be the Troll Warlord and the Grimstroke, which we talked about. I think it's going to be a very strong lane. Let's go back to last hits actually, because net worth isn't that important earlier on, let's be real. As we see Void Spirit versus the Storm mid 1v1, and then the Timber Earth Spirit versus the Cottle, and looks like they're just pulling creeps, which I think is to be expected, right? I mean, when this Timber gets level 3, he should be quite independent, and we might see some rotations from the Earth Spirit. Does get his salve not cancelled actually. Missed it. But I want to talk to you about this mid lane matchup, seeing as you are the premier UK university mid lane player. How does this Storm versus Void Spirit matchup go?
I think you can't really. This game is not going to be a demonstration of the matchup because Storm had first blood and a second kill as well, level 1. So I think if Storm does not heavily dominate this lane, I would be surprised.
He is winning it
considering he had a
12
about a 500 gold advantage.
Yeah, true. He's picked up double null as well.
And either way, I think this should be a Storm favored matchup. Void Spirit is a very strong laner.
Oh, actually, this
with the Resonant Pulse, but
yeah,
Storm should be favored in this.
One thing I want to talk to you about actually, because as we see there's going to be a pull onto the Void Spirit, but it should be fine. Is so normally I remember like whenever mids were being played, like the first thing they'd queue up is the salve, right? But now they're queuing up tangos instead of the salve, as we do see Chaos not going down. They're going to drop the Grimstroke. Yeah, so it's a bit of action top lane, but I just want to talk about this point because it's definitely a complete change, almost a 180. It was almost always going to be a salve, and Storm is going to be fine. Probably where a salve would be useful here than the tangos. But I wanted to talk to you about like why are we seeing tangos picked up instead of the initial salve barrage that both mid laners would normally go for.
I think mid laners kind of came to realization in quite a lot of matchups where there's not like heavy burst harassment. At some point you kind of get caught in this position where you have like 2/3 to kind of half health, where you don't really want to pop a salve because you're not going to get full value out of it. But at the same time, it becomes hard to like step up into lane because you don't want to. There's always a risk of dying if you're too low.
True.
So I think tangos just kind of became a replacement for where you're just consistently keeping yourself topped up on health.
Interesting.
Especially in lanes such as this, like a Storm versus Void, they're going to both be trading harass back and forth. There's always going to be kill potential from both sides if someone gets too low.
Yeah.
So constantly maintaining health and not having to like leave lane.
Talking of kill potential, there's going to be a rotation from the Earth Spirit. There was a whiffed arrow actually top lane, but I don't think that spotted him, and he's going to just miss the roll, but there's going to be the Ink Swell, and I think that's going to be enough to secure this kill with Chaos Knight. The Cole is TPing over, but I think that's far too little, too late. Big Stroke of Fate actually secures the kill, and that Kotl was not there in time. So yeah, this top lane with a rotation from Earth Spirit, which we did mention. Now that Timbersaw is level 4, he can make those rotations.
I'm surprised Mirana didn't go for a second arrow there. They had arrow into the Illuminate. They could have got the Troll or the Earth Spirit if he had connected with that, but decided against it.
Start's gonna rotate.
Maybe he'll be in
He's still only level 3.
Cole mid.
Cole mid. Oh, he's picked up the haste actually as well. Kind of close, but
he puts the early point in to assimilate to survive.
Interesting.
Well, he might die
haste
anyway.
Actually on this Storm Spirit, and he's gonna commit onto him. They're gonna be the Aether Remnant onto the Storm. He's taking a lot of tower hits actually, and yeah, he's gonna have to back up as a result. If that Storm was 6, I think it would have been a different story. But
an ambitious dive.
Yeah. But there is this tri lane starting from Spiderpigz now. They're gonna leap in from the Mirana, catch the Courier. He's gonna get stunned by the Ink Swell. He does have one more leap left, and there is still 3 heroes here for the side of Spiderpigz, while Charlie is just farming under tower. There's gonna be a salve out onto the Mirana as well. Stun onto the Troll. So it's gonna be a little small back and forth. Earth Spirit is still back in base. He's gonna TP mid actually. Storm Spirit is he's going to try and snatch these bounty runes actually, so an interesting play. I think he's going to get him as well. Void Spirit was kind of relying on those bounty runes actually. Yeah, and I think this Grim, he's going to go down because the Void Spirit is here. If he does decide to jump, and meanwhile Timbersaw ends up killing the Monkey
I was watching.
King.
There was a rotation from Storm. He got his Jingo stacks. He got his Jingo stacks up on the Monkey, but he only used the Boundless on the Timber with max stacks, so he got barely any lifesteal back.
Interesting.
He could have potentially gone for the Jingu on the creep wave instead of the heroes for more lifesteal, but I'm not sure if that would have saved him anyway.
Yeah.
Nice rotation from Storm.
Storm is staying down as well. I think he's almost expecting this Monkey to be, and he is, and he's still here. Kotl is here as well, but
nice
yeah, with that blast from Kotl, this is something that we normally see from mid players do actually, where they kill the safe lane carry and sort of stay in the area. So if they TP down, kill him again, the carry's game is completely ruined. But
he can always just stay and farm the camp for 30 seconds while he waits.
Exactly.
So it's not like he's missing too much.
Definitely, and obviously Earth Spirit was taking mid as well, which he definitely needs some experience. It's only level 2, 6 minutes in as well, so definitely a good allocation of resources here by Chicken Fighters.
Prior to that death on the Monkey, I was going to say all the action on the top lane was heavily benefiting him as he was dominating the Timber and farm.
Oh yeah.
A lot of denies as well, which you usually get from the Jingu.
You find that out by the net worth, and he was definitely up there, so...
Before that death, Timber only had 10 last hits.
Yeah.
So Monkey was heavily dominating this lane, which is what you would expect in a 1v1 situation. Because even if you're not threatening a kill with the Jingu, it just gives you can just freely deny most creeps with a level 3 Jingu.
And interestingly enough, actually, even though there was a lot of kills onto this Chaos Knight, he's got 3 deaths at 7 minutes, he is higher on the CS actually than this Troll, so the Troll is definitely feeling a little bit threatened in this top lane. And talking of the Troll though, they are going to commit. I don't think as well is going to connect actually, it doesn't, and that's probably going to be...
on the stun.
Yeah, it's going to be enough to secure his retreat. Earth Spirit is bottom, but is sitting on a ward though, so they know exactly where this Earth Spirit is. Meanwhile, actually, Storm does kill the Mirana, but is it going to come at a cost? Void Spirit does jump in, he's going to kill the Storm. He might die actually, because the rotation dodges the roll from the Earth Spirit though. And I think that's going to be enough. He does get hit, he starts manning up a little bit, but with that Resonant Pulse, he's going to be fine. He does have a Force Stick as well, yeah, so he's going to be fine. So, I think decent actually for Void Spirit. He's going to get his bottle refilled by this Mirana TP from base.
That's always the best feeling.
Yeah. But yeah, trading the Storm for the Mirana there, that's going to be definitely in favour of Spiderpigz. He's only got 2 kills on the board, which was similar to last game. They were very late to the party, but it's going to be another smoke, so there might be some more kills perhaps onto this Troll Warlord.
Troll has not skilled his ulti yet.
They're trying to pop this smoke actually by Grimstroke, but it wasn't there in time. And this might
they
give
definitely do not want the Grim, they're going for the Troll.
Yeah, they're going to be a bit of a false sense of security perhaps for the Troll, because they didn't catch the Grim in the smoke, and he's going to walk up here with Invis. Troll did ping it out actually for some reason, but I think he's going to get hit by the arrow combination with the Chaos Knight as well. Storm is going to TP in, but he might be in trouble now though actually. 4 versus 2 doesn't have to run. Yeah, he does have the mana to zip away, and he's going to be fine. But yeah, nice smoke rotation actually. So a good initiative from the side of Spiderpigz actually, which we didn't see too much in game 1. So good start for them.
It's definitely the Mirana making that cool TP bot. TP's mid, fills his bottle, instantly smokes him, sends him top.
Sure.
Nice remnant from the Void Spirit. It's really the Astral Step slow makes it really easy to hit the remnants. It's just free setup into the arrow, easy kill. Troll without the maybe if Troll had his ulti skilled, they could have turned with the Storm rotation, but
yeah.
He does not.
It's kind of like that Wraith King kind of idea, right? Like you don't always want to spec their ulti because you want to perhaps maximize farm, but if you don't have it, then like chances like that can be missed out on. But first tower is taken by Spiderpigz though, so again this Chaos Knight.
Monkey left bottom. Monkey left bottom, and they lost their tower to this Timbersaw.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I guess with the 4 hero rotation top, he didn't want to get caught out bottom, otherwise it would kind of ruin their rotation, what they got from it.
For sure, for sure.
Which makes sense, but at the same time, does cost them that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and probably in the meantime though, Jesse's probably going to just sit mid right now. Like this is a big benefit of having Timbersaw. You just sort of stick him in front of a tower, kind of similar to a Tide or even a Veno, where you just sort of plonk him in that lane, and it's going to be very difficult for him to take it. So Spiderpigz are going to have to try and find workarounds actually. Maybe this one workaround is top lane on Chaos Knight's rotation, but Storm decides not to walk up higher ground, and that was the right decision because he would have been walking into the Void Spirit and the Chaos Knight. Timbersaw is sort of playing around mid, as we said, but this is going to secure this tier 1 tower's health for a long period. But I think there is enough damage though to kill this Timbersaw if he plays too far up in this middle lane, so it's going to have to be careful.
I feel like Radiant want to dodge the Timber though. I don't know if it's worth all they would have to commit to kill him.
Yeah.
Unless he really overplays. Oh yeah, it's just gonna arrow the siege creep. Just let him sit here. Because they are free farming both side lanes at the moment.
Yeah.
They're smoking up again. Maybe they're gonna try to catch Troll at his Ancients. They're
looking like they're going to run back mid actually. They're going to try for this Timbersaw, and this was the thing I was talking about. Timber's got to be careful that he's not well too out of position. With TB and Chaos Knight as well, I think he is going to fall down, and Jesse's going to pay for his overconfidence there actually, and this is exactly what I pictured actually. Obviously great at defending towers, but if he's standing on the enemy's high ground there, with a rotation from the offlaner, he does fall. Storm is here though, he's going to jump in, try and gets a 4-second stun actually. He might be in trouble because of that actually. Blast from the Cottle Boss, and he dies as well. And Chaos Knight, man, the luck is very much in his favour. They're going to jump on this Grimstroke as well. Monkey is here as well, and that's going to be another kill for the side of Spiderpigz, and they've got a really good start to this game.
Yeah, brought it back after the lot of kills that went down top lane.
Yeah.
A lot better than what happened last game. This Monkey King is getting involved. But he has the
Orb of Corrosion, man. That is it, man. That's why they're winning. That is why they're winning. The Orb of Corrosion, man. Great item, honestly. I really like it so much, right? Because the build up to it, obviously the Orb of Venom, it's normally so weak, right? And it doesn't build into something, but now it builds into something as well as having the minus armor of it. It's just a perfect item that you want it almost every game.
Also, another thing I think is extremely underrated. The armor reduction is really strong for farming because all the creeps as well as the neutrals, they all have really low armor. So going from 2 armor to 0 armor, say on like a creep, you farm so much faster.
That's a good
It
point.
actually it's not bad for farming.
That's a really good point, Joe.
It's underrated.
You know, I always thought, Joe, that you were very like stupid when it comes to Dota, but that point there is actually very smart.
You know when you play like race, you know when you play like racing.
No, I'm
and
being
you buy a
serious. Like
Desert.
legitimate, I'm being serious because.
Yeah, but you know when like you feel like
Yes.
you're just like owning the creeps
Yeah.
when you have like a Desolator.
Yep.
You know? It's like because they all have really low armor,
Yep.
and when you're going from 2 armor to no armor.
Sure. No, and you're right though. Just talking about in terms of how armor works, obviously, if the closer you are to 0, the more percentage it works in terms of like math. So like if you had 20 armor and you went from 20 armor to say 15.
Okay, actually, mathematically, that kind of argument is overstated.
Yeah.
Because when you go from like
Oh, actually, top lane, Monkey's gonna get caught out here by the storm rotation, and Earth Spirit does kill.
Orchid reveal.
Orchid reveal actually onto the storm as well. But no, just the point of what you want to make, I think it's good actually. That I've never heard anyone else talk about that before. So it's a good point. There we go, Joe. But yeah, like, and obviously armor reduction is better on heroes that have or creeps that have low armor. Which
people say armor gets worse the more you get, but that is actually not true.
Well, Joe agrees to disagree because Storm Spirit is gonna fall down just almost exactly the same.
Say you went from 98% reduction to 99% reduction. You think it's only 1%, but you're actually taking half damage from between those two values.
Yeah, 2 + 2 is 4.
So the damage you're taking is getting reduced by half.
I agree.
So the percentage then is going up by 1.
I agree.
That actually is.
Concur.
Whatever.
Yeah, very smart.
Not very relevant. Moving on.
Yeah, moving
Monkey
on.
King is going for the Battle Fury first this game.
Battle Fury.
He's trying to match the Troll's Battle Fury, I guess.
Yeah. Still gonna try actually. He's gonna.
Because they don't really have farming heroes. Because CK has gone for the Hood first item, and Void Spirit's gone for the Yules. So they don't really have much scaling.
Actually, but it's gonna get popped by this Grimstroke. So nice play by the Grimstroke there. More than willing to sacrifice his life so Troll can carry on, because he was actually taking this stack here. The sentry just out of vision actually, unfortunately, of this ward. Gotta find a sentry.
Sure exactly where Troll is.
Yeah. But
that's always it feels bad.
Yeah.
When you know where the enemy core is, and you go to smoke to kill them, and you just walk into the support.
Can't do anything about it.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Very sad. They're gonna sort of take a little bit of the ancients farmed here, but I don't think.
Does he?
Yeah, it's gonna take 1 creep, but not particularly.
And there's a big thing in this patch is spellcasting heroes farming ancients.
That's true.
A thing that I think some people may have missed in the patch notes is that ancients now only have 50% magic resist, as opposed to, what was it, 80% before?
Yeah.
So heroes such as Shadow Fiend, Timsaw, Bat Rider is I think the biggest one, and Tinker as well, can easily farm stacks of ancients very early on.
And there is a stack of ancients here for the side of Spiderpigz. Probably going to have to wait for this Battle Fury from Monkey, which is really close, assuming he has the Ring of Health.
They can farm it with Void Spirit and Costal if they really want to, but I would imagine they're giving it to Monkey.
Yeah, most likely. But there is a smoke up from the side of Chicken Fighters. There is the Awkward done now on the Storm as well, but Spiderpigz are sitting very far behind their vision, sitting by their tower as well, but Chicken Fighters are still going to walk in here, going to get caught out by this ward. Timber is laying the bait down middle lane. I think Void Spirit might have spotted him. Yeah, there's some pings coming out from the side of Spiderpigz, and they're going to recall Monkey King in, I think.
Recall the CK 2 meters.
He was like right here. So the CK moved 5 meters, yeah. Timbersaw is still in the middle lane, but there's no way Spiderpigz want to go on him, knowing that Chicken Fighters are right behind him. And in the meantime, the Troll is going to be
Spiderpigz are very scared. They're very scared of this Storm as
They do have a Mirana ulti though. They're going to go on in this Timbersaw, but is it going to work out is the question. Did they have enough damage? He gets to 4 half HP. Storm is going to jump in though, go straight in onto the Void Spirit, and Chaos Knight is linked up to him. Void's going to go down silence for a little bit too long, and that was a really questionable decision, considering that Timbersaw was there, and he's going to jump back in. They're going to jump even more so onto this Chaos Knight who's about to fall in. There's going to be a buyback from Void Spirit, though Timbersaw might have got, again, a little bit too aggressive. Storm has very little mana, might get caught out here. Does have enough to zip away from the Mirana, but
if they don't get this kill,
it's going to be an Aether Lens here. Pick up, and they're going to... Aether Lens pick up? Sorry, the Aether Remnant the Yaws and is going to catch the Storm there. So yeah, like you said, a very needed.
That was a buyback from Void Spirit.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a it was a buyback. Yeah, Void. So they definitely needed something. But yeah, I just think overall kind of questionable decision to go on Timbersaw. They know, you know, Chicken Fighters were staying behind him there, and they decided that they thought they had enough burst damage. But Earth Spirit, if they kill the Earth Spirit here, also the Void Spirit, but
didn't drop his remnant.
Didn't drop the Stone Remnant.
Or maybe he decided against it.
Yeah, decided
it was
against
only
it,
him.
guys. Yeah,
no
we're not flaming guys. We're just
I mean, he didn't have ulti. I don't think they would have had enough damage to
probably
kill him.
not.
He might have died.
It was definitely funny nonetheless, though. So we're gonna laugh about it.
I'm pretty sure he did that intentionally. I think he decided not to go.
Maybe Error is a beast. So.
But yeah, like you're saying, this Timbersaw, he has Cloak, he has Mech. Definitely very ambitious. He already had, I think he had maybe 12 stacks of his reactive from the creep wave as well.
Yeah.
That was
very questionable.
But at the same time, that is the Chicken Fighters. That is what they set up to do.
Yeah.
They have the Timbersaw sit in the wave, and then they just sit the rest of their heroes behind him in the trees.
Yeah.
And Spiderpigz. They don't really have much choice. They either go on the temple or they don't go on anyone.
Yeah, for sure.
Spiders, chickens.
Yeah, I made the same mistake game once. It happens, man. It happens. Talking of items, though, there is going to be a build up of the BKB from Storm, and this is another trend I actually want to talk to you about because I know you play a lot of Storm, and I've seen a lot of Storms now. Is that they're missing or kind of completely nullifying?
Not going Bloodstone.
No, not Bloodstone actually. Is that they're not picking up treads, which I thought attack speed was really necessary on a hero like Storm.
Treads are less important if you're rushing Orchid, because Orchid gives you decent amount of attack speed.
True.
I think it's the same amount, it's just a bit less than Treads, but it's like similar.
Yeah.
I think Treads plus, you don't need like loads of attack speed, but you need enough attack speed to where you can get your overload hits in smoothly in between your spell casting. Like you don't want to have to zip in, auto attack, like cool. You don't want to have to be like standing still in between attacks on Storm.
For sure. No, that makes sense.
So like, I think Orchid gives you enough attack speed to where you can get your damage output off efficiently and ultimately.
Yeah, no,
you
that makes sense.
Both.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Because the stats from the treads, other than that,
for
not
sure.
that important.
And then one, as you mentioned it as well, like why are they going for this Orchid rush more so than the Bloodstone in general? Is that just kind of a playstyle thing?
Orchid is just so cheap. It's just so cheap nowadays. It's like 3,000 gold. It's just 3.4k gold, and it just gives you so much play potential on this hero. It gives you all the stats you need, because on Storm Spirit you don't need mana as a stat, you just need the regen, because actually having more mana is bad because it makes your ulti cost more.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this before.
Because your ulti is percentage based. All the mana cost on your ulti, the initial cast and the drain is all percentage based.
Yeah.
So having a lower mana pool is actually theoretically up to a certain point.
Yeah,
it's theoretically better.
It's going to be in a kind of somewhat of a fight for these bounty runes, but I think Spiderpigz have learned the lesson not to commit on the timber. And Storm does zip for the regen as well. Talking of other items though, we do have the mech and build up to the Yules on the Timbersaw, and Troll has finally finished his Battle Fury and again working towards his BKB as well. And there is a Mirana ulti. They're going to try once more onto this Timbersaw. Let's see if they have enough damage, and this time I think they do have it. Yeah, he's alone this time, and he's definitely going to fall. And I think Earth Spirit might get fall as well. Perfect timing on the arrow from Mirana, and he's going to go down as well. So they learned their lesson this time, and kind of worked out a lot better. But yeah, so there's
Mirana's finished the Yules.
So Yules on the Mirana.
I hate this item. I think it's so OP.
Just instant, easy setup, right, for the arrow. So. And then there's a Yules from the Void Spirit who's building towards his Ags, and then a Blink Hood for the Chaos Knight. Normally we sort of seeing a lot of Ags on the Chaos Knight. I know 33 Chaos Knight is a real big proponent of building Ags. What do you think of this Pipe and Blink? Considering that Pipe got kind of nerfed again this patch, by the way, in terms of its cost. What do you think of it?
Pipe is one of those items where there's some games where you feel like you need it, but it always just feels bad to buy. When you finish your hood, you're like, okay, I'm close to my pipe. And then you start building it, and then you realize the recipe is like 1,500 gold.
Yeah. And
it's just like, that like period between there, it's just, it feels bad to buy. But I think it's still good. Like, you look at the die lineup, Storm is a kind of an all-in hero, Earth Spirit's an all-in hero. If they don't do enough damage in like their initial jump, the fight is kind of over.
Yeah.
Like if your pipe absorbs all of Earth Spirit's initiation and Storm uses all his mana and they don't get at least one key kill, the fight kind of becomes very difficult for Dire.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like there's going to be a BKB just finished up by the Monkey King. And I was going to mention as well how I think you're going to be correct in our little bet, by the way. I don't think Troll is going to be building towards the Ags because he's level 20 anyway for the further attack speed and the whirling axe damage, which I think is a must if you're going to be building the Ags. So I think there is going to be no Ags on this Troll, man. Lucky for you, you're not going to get kicked. I mean, what can I say?
When you're playing this kind of Battle Fury Troll kind of style, you always need BKB. And if you're going BKB, I feel like you don't need Ags. Because you're not going to have enough damage. Like you have Ags and BKB, it just feels bad.
Yeah. And, Spiderpigz are going to start taking this Roche. There's a fortunate DD here by the Monkey King, and I don't think Chicken Fighters even realise what's going on as well, because there's no vision around the pit. And it's just going to be a free Roche actually, just for Monkey King.
Classic DD.
Yeah, classic DD into Roche. Nahaz is probably shaking right now. Yeah, so that's a complete free Roche actually, and completely uncontested. And with that, they're actually 5k net worth lead up actually, so it's going to be a closer game than the one we saw before.
I'm surprised they gave Monkey the Aegis when he has his BKB ready, and Void Spirit he's still on his dieback.
Yeah.
So if he dies in the fight, he's gonna be dead for a very long time.
They do try and smoke out there, see if they can catch anyone, but they're only gonna find the Grim Stroke. So, yeah,
he's walking in, he's begging to die.
Taking the smoke gank there. So not going to be as fruitful as they would have liked for the side of for the side of Spiderpigz, excuse me. But all the items are kind of picked up really now. Ags has just finished now on the Void Spirit, as well as the BKB, which we mentioned.
Dire is waiting for the double BKB timing on their 2 cores.
Yeah.
They might try and wait out the Aegis to fight. Well, I don't think they can kill Monkey King anyway if he gets his BKB off.
It looks like Spiderpigz are going to try and force the issue on this tier 2 tower as well, because Troll does not have his BKB yet, about 500 gold away. Storm does have it, but they're forced to play very close together, considering that Spiderpigz do have a lot of kill threat. They're going to be taking the tier 1 tower as well, so yeah, it's going to be at least a wait before we see an engagement from all these people.
So dodging the fire is not so bad for Chicken Fighters because Monkey King he did opt for the BKB before the Aghanims, so they don't really have much tower pressure on Radiant.
That was almost very close. Actually, he does get him actually with the Aether Ribbon in the last second. Can they catch him is the question. Chaos Knight is here. There's going to be a BKB popped by the Stormspear, and I think he's going to be okay.
There's no TP.
But there is Mirana roll. It is ending. The BKB is ending in about 2 seconds as well. Is it going to come out? There's going to be a blink on the store on the Chaos Knight, but it isn't enough. So in the end, it wasn't as good as it might be. But now Monkey is isolated. Timbersaw is here. Going to start to commit onto him, but everyone else for the side Chicken Fighters are following up as well. Inkswell was used, but I think that was just perhaps just not knowing where the rest of Spiderpigz were, because they ended up sort of backing off with it. It was always a 4 versus just the 1 of the Monkey King, but
he has Aegis and BKB anyway.
Thug did.
Doesn't know where they were going to kill him.
He stood his ground, and he was the winner of this game of chicken, if you can pardon the pun. Man, I'm so smart sometimes, I would say, these puns. Anyway,
don't say another word. Just don't say another word. Let's just sit here in silence.
Thank you.
Rana has bought a Blink Dagger, which I like.
Definitely an uncommon pickup, right? And like it was kind of very common when you'd have the Ags that was dependent on around your hero, but now being dependent on the arrow, don't necessarily need the blink to initiate, but it can be good to, as you said, catch heroes.
Also, Dire don't have a lot of kind of out of nowhere damage. All their damage is like you can see it coming, so you can blink away quite easily from like an Aspirate roll, a Storm Zip, a Timber Chain. You know, you can like. You can see them coming, so it can be a good defensive tool.
Yeah.
Although she does a beep anyway, but maybe he's just going for a blink.
There's a ward on the high ground actually, and they're going to catch out the Monkey King, but here comes the Chaos Knight as well. They're going to jump in. Troll does have his BKB. He cannot get it off though, and Timbersaw is looking like he's going to fall as well. Yules was picked up on the Mirana, so I think he's going to survive for a time being. Does eventually go down, but Timbersaw is going to go down, and Chicken Fighters are going to try and run away as much as they can. BKB is now out, though, from the Storm, and he doesn't have any mana, but this little juke spot here is going to be enough to make him survive. So, yeah, looking like it was going to be a little bit risky for the side of Monkey King, because they had this ward on the high ground, but with Aegis and BKB...
He instantly jumped. It was a nice reaction to instantly jump down.
Yeah.
So before Troll could cut the tree.
Definitely, and...
I think Troll got hit by an arrow as well after the boundless strike.
He had his BKB, but couldn't get it off, and as a result...
He needed to instantly pop it.
Yeah. So that's going to be most likely a tier 2 tower top as well. The Aegis should be running out soon, though, for the side of Spiderpigz, so I don't think they're going to be able to take anything more than this tier 2. I don't think they'll be walking up high ground. Bottom lane, actually, Grimstroke's going to get caught out by the Void Spirit. Zibe tanking the ganks once more, trying to push in this lane, and he's going to get recalled by the Kotl as well, so they might want to keep up this action.
Is the power of the Kotl.
Yeah, you mentioned it in the draft, and they might be getting caught out here. They do spot out this... Oh, the smoke was popped, and immediately they jump back in. The Storm does go straight in, actually, pops the BKB as well. There's a Monkey King going up in the background, and the BKBs were popped, and the Kotl is going to die. The Chaos Knight is going to die as well. There's a BKB popped by the Monkey. The Aegis goes down as well, actually, and Troll does get his ultimate off. He still ends up dying, though, and wow, the Monkey King's doing so much damage, actually. The Wukong's, as you say, doing too much work, and I thought that was going to be really bad for the side of Thug there, but he standed his ground and again comes out ahead.
The Wukong armor is just too powerful.
Yeah.
Troll is just... He only has Battle Fury BKB, he does not have enough damage. Yeah. Doesn't even have his level 20 talent yet. Yeah. There's not enough damage to burst through this monkey.
It's been kind of a sad state of affairs, really. Troll has kind of died, came back alive, died again. This time he got his BKB off, but still ends up dying, and the net worth
Troll
is
is looking eerily similar to the Monkey King of the last game, where it just kind of feels... This is a position you get into quite often in losing games as a carry, where it just becomes impossible to really utilize your hero as you would want to. Like, they have 2 Yule Scepters, they have loads of just disengage on Radiant. Troll kind of has to pop his BKB to commit to any fight. Then even when he does, it's so awkward for him to try and get a meaningful damage out.
Yeah. It's 29 minutes, and there is some tier 3 items getting picked up now. Elven Tunic.
Power Sword is nice control.
Elven Swords, and actually hold that fort. There's going to be forced BKB out from the Storm. He's going to jump in on the Mirana, but I don't think he's going to be able to kill him in time before... No, Spiderpigz are going to just completely leave him. Yeah, so Spiderpigz didn't want to commit, seeing as Storm did expend his BKB. Yeah, just going to talk about the new tier 3 items, something that we haven't seen really yet in competitive play. Elven Tunic actually being held by Storm, of all people, right now.
I really like this item.
On Storm, or just in general, like this item?
Maybe not on Storm.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very good on Storm, but... Well, I mean, it's not bad. I feel like I'd rather have the Fairy Trinket. I think this item is really strong for a tier 1 item.
Yeah.
I think this item is the new Faded Brooch. I think the strength of this item on some heroes is comparable to the OG before nerf, all the nerfs Faded Brooch.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this item's really strong.
We see the Psychic Headband as well, actually, which isn't being held by Storm. 12% intelligence, obviously cast range isn't too useful. But I thought 12% intelligence would be kind of useful on a hero like Storm. And alternatively on Radiant, they've got the Cloak of Flames, which is the only new item.
Mirana is holding that, interestingly. I guess she's just using it for the stats, less so for the burn depth.
Monkey King did have it, actually, but then decided to go for the Titan Sliver instead, who's also picked up a Eye of Skadi as well. And they are...
Skadi with 4 Aghanims, that is interesting.
It looks like he's... he just picked up the Skadi instead of the Aghanims. What do you make of this, anyway? Because normally, you remember last game you were raving about how good Ag's Monkey King is.
Well, he's still going to go it, I imagine. Yeah, he's got to queued up. I think it's because he decided he needed this early BKB. It kind of made the Aghanims
hold that full, actually. They're going to jump on the Storm, and I think they're going to catch him out. So much damage from the Void and the Monkey King, actually. And again, showing the strength of Kotl. You know what? The more and more I see this Kotl, the more it kind of feels like almost a pseudo version of Wisp, right? Like, he walks up, it calls in Monkey King, and that slap from the Boundless Strike was enough to surprise the Storm, actually, and catch them out.
Like I was saying, I think the new Kotl is just so powerful in a organized professional team environment where They can communicate their map rotations. They know they're all on the same page. They know what they're doing, and it makes it so hard to play into because you can never be safe. You can never be sure you're safe. You might think, or you see Void Spirit on the bottom lane, so you're safe to farm top, but then 5 seconds later, he's on top of you, top killing you. You can never feel safe unless you see the coddle. But back to the Monkey King. I think because he went BKB, but I think one of the biggest strengths of the Ags early, especially with Battle Fury, is how much it increases your farm. The Ags on the Battle Fury, because the Ag soldiers, I think they're like the only real remnant/illusion type units in the game that actually cleave with Battle Fury. Like you can hop into a camp, drop 1 unit, and then just go to the next camp, and it will cleave it down for you. You farm so quickly. But because he went for this BKB to fight, the farm speed kind of became redundant because they were just fighting instead.
It's actually a smoke here for the side of Chicken Fighters. Just picked up DD as well, of all things, on the Troll Warlord. It's going to be an ulti form from the Chaos Knight, but Troll Warlord just gets his BKB off and uses ulti as well, but they're going to try and kite it. Monkey King actually does get the ultimate off as well, and the Troll Warlord is smacking him, but the Troll is going to most likely fall in the end, and they're going to be having forced to retreat on the side of Chicken Fighters, and Grimstroke goes down. Timbersaw does get the Timber Chain away. Storm is zipping out, but I think Earth Spirit, that stun lasted so long, travelled for so long, and 4-second stun in the end. They do actually catch the Timbersaw in the back as well, so it's going to be a 4-0 for the side of Spiderpigz actually. And fortunate timing because Roche is up as well. So yeah, unfortunate.
Biggest and cheese.
Yeah, so that's going to be...
This is the real kind of stereotypical Timbersaw loss that you see extremely often, where you have a decent lane, you take your tower in your lane, you're really tanky at like 15 minutes, the enemy team doesn't want to kill you, but then if you don't really do anything with that, 10 minutes later, your farm kind of dwindles off and your impact just becomes minimal.
Yeah.
You see his items, he has Mech, Yules, Eternal Shard, these are all kind of defensive items, and you kind of can't feel his impact in these fights.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to mention actually.
He's just a slow.
Mirana jumps in actually, gets us the Yules on the Grim, and I think Grim's going to go down. Storm does jump in to try and kill this Mirana. He might succeed in killing Mirana. She gets the leap off and does survive in the end, and that's all the mana is used. They do end up killing the Mirana actually with a troll rotation, and Grimstroke is forced to buy back. I think that's going to be it for the side of Spiderpigz, who are more than happy to trade Mirana for Grimstroke and his buyback. So
Monkey King has his X finish now.
Yeah.
It just becomes even harder. As I was saying, I think Monkey into Troll is a surprisingly good matchup for the Monkey.
Oh yeah?
The later the game goes, because Troll, obviously, as you've seen in the last few fights, if you're inside your ulti, Troll just doesn't do enough damage with the item build that Trolls go nowadays.
Yeah.
He just does not do enough damage to fight you. And you can just kind of stand there and man fight him. And your Monkey soldiers and your Ag soldiers, they do not get affected by the Axe's mischance. So if you just stand your ground, he can't really win the man fight.
Yeah.
When you have 40 armor and he just does not have much damage. Especially with the after you finish the Scatty with the heal reduction.
For the bounties, and he is spotted. He does have a BKB though. Void Spirit decides not to go for him, or doesn't see him at all in the first place. Timbersaw is on the low ground though, and he's going to get spotted out, going to get hit by the arrow, as well as everything from the Void Spirit. It does get given as much as he can, but it looks like he's going to get away with that Timbersaw chain, but does end up dying eventually to Monkey King and Chaos Knight, and Storm is pushing mid, but it's forced to zip away. So Timbersaw is dead once more, but he does have buyback, but looks like Spiderpigz are going to try and rotate and move on to these racks and force a buyback from this Timbersaw, nonetheless. Being forced out on a Fortify as well. Storm is zipping in, trying to kill the wave, dodges the arrow as well, just about. Aegis is popped by this, sorry, not popped, but it does have the Aegis, but it's taking a lot of damage from this tower. Timbersaw, 30 seconds left. They're going to try and hold the buyback if they can. The Spiderpigz are
They need to protect their wave from the storm. They have a pipe ready. They do. He's probably going to pipe the wave so he can walk up.
Yeah, there's an Aether Remnant in anticipation for it as well. They do catch out.
I think they're trying to. Yeah, I think they're trying to wait for the storm to zip to try and kill him.
Well,
Although I think they could have
Void
just...
does TB top. Can obviously get recalled by the Kotl, so...
As the bots plus the recall now.
Yeah, so it isn't too much of a commitment.
No lane is safe.
And
I feel like they could have just piped the wave and walked up and hit it with the Monkey King. He has the Aghanims. They pushed pretty quickly with that, but decided against it as the Timber was respawning relatively soon.
yeah, Timber is
They're going to back in
now.
37 minutes to neutral items.
Yeah, true. And here comes some of the tier 4 items as well.
Ooh, level up.
Level up.
Takes the Illusion Cape Monkey King. I think the Illusionist Cape works on the Monkey Soldiers, but I'm not 100% sure. I think they count as units.
Right.
The bonus unit damage. Oh, it's not a lot of bonus damage, but I think it does work.
Interesting. Does jump in, but don't think he can catch anyone. There was an arrow I hear spotted out, and they actually catch the Timbersaw, not the Timbersaw once more. Oh, Jesse. Oh, and actually Voidspit jumps in as well. They're going to try and commit even more. Storm does go in, forces some kind of rotation, but they're going to be a BKB as well as the Cheese. Troll does get the ulti off as well, but Chaos Knight is dropping very quickly. Actually, this Monkey ulti is doing so much work. Storm does get initiated on by the Void, but Troll dies the moment his ulti runs out. And Timbersaw, please say he's not going to die again. Jesse, please survive. Does get the Timber Train out, but I think he's going to go down. He has the everything, and Monkey is here. He has the Boundless Strike as well, and he's definitely going to go down. Earth Spirit does go on to the Void. Storm Spirit is here as well. Monkey King does still have the Aegis, so they can't commit too much. And Earth Spirit is forced to roll away. And
Void Spirit did buy back.
Timbersaw buys back and then dies again. This has been a very sad state of affairs for this Timbersaw this game, and it might be getting worse, seeing as his racks are most likely going to fall. Chaos Knight, the only one dead. Storm is back alive though, going to jump in, force out the Will-O-Wisp from the Keeper of the Light, but I don't think anything is stopping this Aegis, this Rax from going down, and Monkey King still has this Aegis as well, so...
I would imagine they're just going to go top. He's going to...
Oh no, stop his TP!
I assume he's just going to recall him.
I was going to say, like, he's going to stop his TP, because he only TP back for the region, but he had Aegis going, but he's back anyway, so...
Broken part of the Kotl is the Chakra doesn't refresh the cooldown on ultimate abilities, but it does refresh the cooldown of the 2 spells he gets from using his ult. So it refreshes the recall cooldown as well as the...
Interesting. Storm does jump in on the Monkey, buys back from the Troll as well, but instantly gets stunned out by the Mirana ulti, but doesn't get his BKB off. It's going to be forced to ult. He doesn't have it for 5 seconds though. He needs to be careful of that. Monkey is dropping very low though. Can they kill him is the question. Tries to mischief away. He's about 100 HP, does die in the end, but Storm is most likely going to fall from the Mirana as well. They jump back in, force out and kill out the Grimstroke, and they're going to catch his Earth Spirit as well. Unless, yes, they did kill the Monkey King, but they're going to lose everyone because of it. And Troll fought back and ended up dying as well. And I think this might just be the game right now. Yes, they killed Monkey King. He's going to buy back and he's going to go throne. And yeah, there's the GG. So there we go. So in the end, Spiderpigz does come back from...
a really nice game from Spiderpigz, I think.
Really nice.
They utilised their heroes really well, their map movement with the Kotl.
Just like that, guys, Spiderpigz do level up the series to make it 1-1 in this series between Chickenfires and Spiderpigz. Any last thoughts before we go to a break for the third and final game?
I think the thing you saw that happened in a lot of those last fights was this 10th pick Troll from Chicken Fighters. It just doesn't match up against the Monkey King in the late game, as well as I guess they thought it did. It just becomes, once Monkey King hits this 3-4 item timing, it just becomes so difficult for Troll to really fight into him. Because Monkey, as you saw in all those fights, Monkey wasn't even hitting him. He was just standing in his ult. Troll's hitting him, and Troll's just taking 3 times more damage than he's dealing.
For sure. Well, that was game 2. Spiderpigz are the winner, so there's going to be a game 3 coming up, guys. So we're just going to throw it to a quick break, but appreciate all the follows and all the love and support. I do apologise for the stream quality and stuff. This is the first time streaming in a very, very long time, but stick around. Game 3 coming up.
Maybe.
Hey, okay, hello. Welcome back, everyone. I need to get and join Discord first. And to get Joe on the phone again. But this, welcome back, guys. This is Spiderpigz Chicken Fighters Game 3 of the European DPC closed qualifiers to sort of see who else is going to be joining the other 4 teams in the upper division of the European DPC League. We had Chicken Fighters win game 1 and then Spiderpigz to return in game 2 in this fashion. The draft is already underway, and I'm finally back with my lovely, so insightful co-commentator. He who shall always change his nickname, but I'm going to call you Joe for ease of execution. But draft's already on the way, so let's start to dissect this already. We got.
Luckily for you, they really took their time on the second phase
I'm
bans.
very glad they did, as I had to relocate. But Mars Marana Treant by the side of Spiderpigz, and then Chicken Fighters get Earth Spirit Prophet, which is what they got in game 1 for their initial victory, and then change it up with the third pick on Wraith King, a hero that we haven't seen actually at all in today's series.
I don't think we've seen it picked or banned. Interesting thing to point out, the Chicken Fighters did have first pick this game, so Spiderpigz banned out the Kotl that they took first pick last game.
Interesting. And
so Kotl first phase pick ban all 3 games.
Just also would like to point out as well that Grimstroke has 100% loss rate or a 0% win rate. So I'm feeling quite justified, and in my opinion, that Grimstroke is not a good hero, but obviously a very small sample size. Lycan banned out once again. They take out the Timbersaw as well, even though it didn't cause them that too many other problems. In game 2, but pick up Treant though, and Marana again. That worked. Gone.
I think they banned the Timber to protect this Treant pick. I would assume. Oh, it's gonna be Treant 5 though. Yeah, that would lane against Timbersaw.
Yeah.
So I think they banned to protect that Treant if he's gonna be 5. So if you have a Treant 5 plus any real carry, Timbersaw's gonna have a good lane into that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I think take the safe lane with that, regardless of how it turned out last game. Because last game, the Timber had a relatively bad lane, which kind of led into.
Yeah.
I do like this Medusa pick into the Wraith King though.
Why is that? Talk me through it.
Because Wraith King is, I assume, most Wraith Kings go for either phase Radiance or phase Armlet Radiance. It's quite a slow timing, and it allows a hero such as Medusa to get the farm that she needs. And I think once Medusa comes online, it's very hard for Wraith King to fight into a Medusa, because he just does not do enough damage to really burst through her shield. And obviously, he cannot do any much against her. Once she pops her ulti, he has to just turn and walk away.
Yeah, no, definitely. And gonna be the other core pickup here for Chicken Fighters. Most likely gonna be the mid, right? Probably the mid lane, I'd say, just because they don't have last pick, right? So they want to cover it with the 2 other bans as well. So. And talk to me through. I mean, there's another Terrorblade ban as well, actually. But talk more through any mid heroes that you think are looking good. Invoker is banned out as well, so no EMP combo.
Yeah, also protects the Medusa. I think they want heroes that can get on. They just want to dive onto the Medusa to enable the Wraith King to get in and do his damage to the other heroes. Because I don't think you're ever really gonna, unless they're really far ahead, I don't think you're ever gonna be wanting Wraith King walking in and hitting Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to want a mid hero that can cause chaos in the back. Because what Medusa wants to do is kind of stand still. And that is a very good hero, I think.
Interesting. Talk me
That's a
through
very good
Brewmaster. 'Cause I'm
pick.
just going to grab myself a lamp because everyone needs to see my obviously incredibly beautiful face, more so than Dota. So you talk me through it. Go.
Like I was saying, the way Medusa really wants to play Dota is she kind of just wants to stand her ground and right click and not feel threatened. But Brewmaster is the kind of core hero, the core like anti-carry hero. Because what he was gonna want to do is pop his ulti, tornado the Medusa, and then just leave her there. While Wraith King can get to work on the other heroes. So the strategy they're kind of going for with this pick is to just try and nullify the Medusa's impact as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Might even see 1 or maybe even 2 halberds bought by the cores on Dire. Halberd obviously very strong against ranged carries with the extra duration.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to assume whatever you said was really smart and really clever because I didn't hear a word of it. But
it was.
Yeah, I bet it was. I mean, obviously, Brewmaster, you probably already mentioned it, but great hero against Medusa, can just throw him up in the air and can really nullify him. I believe they ban out Zeus as well, actually. So a hero that I guess in some ways does deal with Medusa well.
Zeus is very good against Medusa, and because of the way his passive works.
Yes.
Because his passive works off percentage current HP, and Medusa's mana shield reduces the damage taken, but it doesn't like reduce the percentage.
Exactly.
So she's just constantly taking a high percentage of max HP damage.
Because obviously she has, as you said, she's not losing health, she's losing in mana first, so then it makes the static field do more damage. Yeah. I heard that in someone else's stream, I can't remember, but I'm sure you were aware of it. But so Qualifiers, they ban out Storm and Ember though. Void Spirit was initially banned out in the second banning phase, so they don't have last pick here, so they're going to need something for mid. That was not the hero I was expecting them to pick, but again, it does give them some range, like a Zeus.
They're Supreme's chicken fighters, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is a notorious Tinker player.
Wow. I still wasn't expecting that though. I mean, it's still a little bit risky, right? Just because it's like
Tinker is always risky.
Yeah.
Tinker is always risky.
You know, Zeus was actually banned out by Spiderpigz, and then obviously Storm was banned out by Chicken Fighters. So there's not the usual kind of go-to Tinker counters in the middle lane. Is there any hero that you think might try and use? I mean, I was gonna say something like stupid, like putting Medusa mid and going for Spectre, but that sounds incredibly game losing, considering that they've already got Medusa.
Spectre.
Yeah, and Spectre just sucks as well, right? But I was just thinking about like heroes that can deal with Tinker, and kind of jump on him. Zeus is banned, obviously. Storm is banned. So is Park Void, Ember. All the go-to kind of jump on you heroes.
Could go for something like a silencer, but then that's kind of potential to go
for a Conquer. So they picked up in game 1, didn't bring them much success, but they choose for it here. By the sounds of it,
I can envision this game going the same way game 1 went.
Yeah,
I can foresee this Tinker just kind of playing the same way that the Ember did in game 1. If he gets a good start, if they don't contest the Ancients, and this Tinker gets to farm those with again early bots, I can see this game going the same way as game 1.
Yeah.
But I will say this Brewmaster in the off lane, I think Brewmaster mid is underrated, but in the off lane, there's potential. If you shut this hero down early, it can get to a point where he pops his ulti, and the Kunkka and Medusa can just kill his Brewlings.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And I think
like split shot on Tidebringer, they can just kill them.
No, definitely. But this is something we also mentioned with the Tinker as well. It's very risky, right? Like most Tinker games end up with the Tinker dominating and just owning, or he ends up dying once without buyback and he just loses all his base and the game's over.
Even if the Tinker's owning, there's always the chance you get caught out once.
Yeah.
How many pubs you play against the Tinker? Where they're like 20-0. They die, they buy back, they die again, and the game just ends.
The game's over, yeah. And then there's still this threat on Medusa, which I think with a hero like Tinker as well, you can't really threaten Medusa in terms of his early farm, right? They're not going to be able to really invade the triangle and deal with Medusa in terms of shutting her down. And they've chosen the Tinker as a way of dealing with her probably in the mid to late game. But we'll have to sort of see how it is. I'm very excited for this game. Remember, guys, this is game 3 between Chicken Chicken Fighters and Spiderpigz. A very important closed qualifier. Now there is a lower bracket, so if either team does get knocked out here, they still will have a chance to redeem themselves to see if they can qualify in the upper division. But this is everything on the line in terms of
I was going to
upper
say
bracket.
this series is very important because it is not like a group; it is just a straight up bracket.
Yeah.
So 2 BO3s is all they need to win.
Yeah. Exactly. So
if whoever wins this game basically has
one more
2
series.
BO3s, and they need to win one to get qualified.
Yeah. So if they win 2 BO3s, guys, 2 series, that's all they need to qualify in the upper bracket. And obviously both teams are looking for this early win here against each other. Now there is some heroes posturing in the bottom lane, kind of similar. We might have a similar start actually. They both see each other, the Spirit and the Trium, but they're a little bit timid. Charlie was there.
He doesn't particularly want to skill stun, but I think he
might
will
be forced to actually. Arrow is going to land on the Wraith King as well. I think he might be the one first to go. A nice kick out from Arrow actually. That might give him some space on Charlie. I think that is enough for him to leave. Treant, however, is low, but I think that's going to be it actually. So really nice save by Arrow onto the Wraith King here, kicking him away from danger. And yeah, we're still not going to see a first blood yet.
And kick level 1 is not that bad. It's not that bad on Earth Spirit.
Yeah.
It's a better nuke.
Still going to try and contest for these bounty runes though, but actually no, Chicken Fighters are going to give it up and lose 1 or 2 Treants in the meantime as well. But yeah, and in the meantime, Mars is going to be able to get both bounty runes top as no one from the side of Chicken Fighters are up there. So it's going to be an early bounty rune lead for the side of Spiderpigz.
Back to what you were saying about the Tinker pick. I think the strategy that Chicken Fighters are going for, they're not going for a invade the Medusa, win the game early. I think they're just going for a strat where they're going to get their own, they're just going to farm up their own heroes, and then their items, they're going to try and just nullify the Medusa's impact as much as possible in team fights with things such as, obviously the Brewmaster, the Medusa laser, maybe some sprouts. I think they're just going to try and nullify her impact. Because Medusa's not a hero that... Hurricane Pike, you don't really want to buy this item on any hero, really. It's very awkward to buy. So the Sprout could always the most underrated niche profit spell.
True.
It could come in.
True.
Where they just sprout this Medusa and she's just stuck.
Gonna see some Sprout TZ replays perhaps if there's if there's no Logger's Hatchet or whatever. Arrow looks like he's gonna be cutting the wave. Doesn't want to be contesting double melee versus the Treant and Medusa. It's gonna force Medusa to CS under tower, but it seems like Jessie's gonna try and stop her, and she does miss 1 CS there. In the meantime, but he's going to get the 3rd one. So yeah, a Treant Medusa lane versus Jesse's Panda Brewmaster and Earth Spirit here. I mean, this lane kind of...
Should be a fine lane for Medusa.
Yeah.
The Treant against the double melee lane is a very strong support to have. Medusa should be fine. And
in the mid lane we've got Kunkka versus Tinker. I mean, you weren't too happy with the Kunkka pickup, not only because it didn't have 2 or great success in game 1, but I mean, how's it match up just from a laning standpoint? And in the meantime, actually, top lane, Prophet is the first one to go down. Unfortunately, we missed that.
It was a surprising kill. I guess he got speared into arrow and didn't have his Treants in position to block the arrow.
Yeah.
Usually, Ninja Prophet is very strong in lane against the Mirana because you can always just keep your Treants near you to tank any arrows that are going to come.
But yeah, mid lane, Kunkka versus Tinker. How does this normally kind of go?
I mean, the same way most Kunkka lanes go, he should just get decent farm. But obviously, Tinker's going to get the odd deny with the laser every now and then. Like, both these heroes are known for just kind of... You don't really lose many lanes on these heroes. So I think they both should just farm decently.
What about, like, in terms of the game? Like, how does Kunkka match up? Obviously, this was a last pick Kunkka with the pick before that being the Tinker. So they had to really respond to the Tinker. And in my assessment, I don't think Kunkka is that great against Tinker. Obviously, Storm and Zeus were banned out if you missed the draft. But how does it match up really for Tinker?
I think Kunkka, it all comes down to vision. If you can have a ward on maybe say like the high grounds in the lanes or any kind of high ground ward with a Kunkka to see the Tinker, it's easy to catch him with the X because the X, obviously maxed out X has a really long cast range. But without the vision, it's very difficult because Tinker with his blink, in the trees, it was impossible for Kunkka to ever get the X off unless they have vision. So it kind of depends on the vision.
Mars does end up going down. We was watching how much harassment he was taken by the Treants and by Zibby's block. He ends up showing his face in the wave, gets stunned out, and ends up falling actually. So a little bit of overconfidence by the side of Mars. And just talking about like skill build and item build for this Tinker. Like, I mean, we had some new iterations obviously with the patch in terms of the new Arcane Blink, if that's actually what it's called. I think it is. Yeah, Arcane Blink. And I was watching I saw a Miracle sort of pick it up, but
I think that's more of a meme than a legit thing.
Okay.
He's looking for the X into arrow.
Yeah, for all the supports actually are mid. But oh, just get an X actually off onto the Earth Spirit, and he has already rolled nice X into arrow. It wasn't onto the Tinker, but it was onto the Earth Spirit. I think he's going to die to the double Starstorm, and as he will. So the first step in the mid lane is actually from the position 4s. So we see Treant TP down bot. But yeah, so talking about like item build for this Tinker. I never actually finished that discussion.
I imagine he is going to go Bloodstone, Blink into Bloodstone. That is what I see most Tinkers build these days. Bloodstone, very nice on Tinker, because you can rearm the Bloodstone with your ulti.
Is mostly going to fall down. There's a stun coming out as well, so yeah, he is going to die once again. The moment the position 4 rotates, and actually he's got a really nice block of who does not have leap. Actually, I think he's going to die. It's a lovely blocks from Zibbe as well, and yeah, that's going to force out the tip from Charlie.
Level 3 is extremely unheard of, I think, skill build from this Mirana.
Yeah, without a doubt, pays the price for it right there. But yeah, because I'm actually seeing a lot more Tinkers, just finishing this discussion on the Tinker, I'm seeing a lot more discussions. We do see the Torrent on Prophet, but I think he should be fine. Does have a TP, but he's just going to walk away. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of Tinkers nowadays. So
you catch the Tinker, it's just a free kill, but when you have this Bloodstone, if you can get like 2 used charges of the Bloodstone off, you're actually incredibly tanky on this hero.
Of course, because you can obviously refresh the Bloodstone as well.
You were on the Bloodstone active, so you're actually really tanky if you can get multiple uses of the Bloodstone off. As well as obviously you're already difficult to catch with the Blink.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And plus, obviously, the mana reduction.
They are going to try and X into arrow combat. It was successful. Does get the March Machines, and Earth Spirit is here, so I think that's going to be enough. Well, yeah, the Starstorm was close to catching him and killing him, but was not enough in the end. So Era was there to save Supreme's Tinker. He's going to be forced to pick up the haste as well, and Kunkka does have no more bottle charges, so he might be forced back to base. Maybe going to wait for the X, but Spirit is here, as well as the Prophet TP. There's going to be rockets coming in as well, and actually Kunkka might be going down actually. Roll does hit, and with the Prophet rotation and no leap on Mirana, going to die once more. Really punishing this very greedy skill build by this Mirana actually, but really nice rotation from both the Prophet and the Spirit once again.
Prophet 5 power.
Yeah.
The rating level 5, no problem, just sustaining lane by himself with the 3 points in the Vampiric Spirit.
Interesting. Yeah. Obviously picked up phase boots as well, and after these 2 deaths from Mars, he's more than happy to 1v1 against him. Level 6 as well.
Did get 3 denies off that wave.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Just say it was lag and go from there. But in terms of last hits though, actually, Medusa as well as Kunkka, actually everyone on the side of Spiderpigz here actually are ahead of their dire counterparts actually. So we'll switch over to net worth, and yeah, Medusa obviously well out ahead, but followed by the Wraith King and the Tinker. And obviously after the death from the Kunkka, he's definitely below the Tinker. Who,
so this Treant support kind of nullifies the dire off lane. And you saw that with the Earth Spirit just kind of leaving the lane at level 2 really. He kind of hasn't been back since. And then when you have a solo melee offlaner against Treant and a ranged carry, you can't stop Medusa just free farming this lane.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But like we said at the start of the game, it's kind of apparent that their strategy is not to shut down the Medusa farming, it's to just shut down her impact in the fights that are going to come later.
Yeah.
So they don't seem to mind letting her farm. This Wraith King is going Midas, so I assume he's just going to go Midas into Radiance.
Yeah, so what's your thought? There's going to be another Treant blocked by Zibbe as well. Really good at doing that actually. Obviously the Treant armor is going to force them back. But yeah, so talk to me about this this Midas and perhaps into Radiance as well. Is that what we expect to see? There is going to be a stun onto the Mars, but I don't think they can. But with the Earth Spirit, they might be able to. It's going to force out the rotation from the Medusa as well as the Mars ulti actually as well. I think they're both going to be dying here actually. So an overconfidence play by the side of Chickenfires is going to cost them their lives on the supports. And Wraith King is more than happy to TP down bottom. Does not want to be seeing any kind of.
Brewmaster's thinking finally free lane. Wraith instantly TPs and takes his farm.
That is the carry lifestyle, man. He just
Tinker is farming, meanwhile, farming a lot of stacks in the jungle though.
Yeah, true.
Interestingly, haven't stacked the Ancients at all on Dire. I would have assumed the Earth Spirit would have been stacking the Ancients in between his rotations, but he has not stacked once.
They were looking for the Tinker there, seeing as that there was an invis room popped by the Conquer. I think Supreme knows what's up. There is a ward placed down here, so if there is any more stacks, they're going to be able to spot it out and maybe try and respond to it. Arrow going to be used as well, almost lands it, but Arrow does get the D ward, which makes him level 6. But yeah, so talk to me about this this Wraith King, Midas. We never actually finished this discussion.
I think it kind of goes along with what we've been saying about this Medusa. I think they're thinking that their knowledge of this Medusa's kind of timings, they feel like they're going to have enough time to just farm up later Radiance on Wraith King, as well as with their Tinker's greedy farming items as well. I think they think. I think it's just gonna. The later this game goes, the better it gets for them.
Right. Okay.
Like they believe that they can, in the late game team fights, they can just outplay them.
Interesting.
As long as they get there, they don't feel pressured into doing it.
A Panda ulti actually, but not doing too much.
He tried to kill the Treant, but he just walked through the trees.
Yeah, but it's going to secure the bounty rune top at least, so it's some kind of value out of it. But it's still down. Primal Split is down for 2 minutes now, and in the meantime, actually, there was a Mars ulti popped, killing the Prophet, but only the Prophet was killed off.
That was a boat as well.
Yeah. So Boots of Travel now nearly finished by the Tinker, about 1,000 gold away from it. And I think when obviously the travels.
You got the Keen Optic.
Is that obviously cast range as well? It's the dream. The dream of a Tinker here.
I wonder what he would take between the Fairy Trinket and the Keen Optic. I would be interested to see. I would take the Trinket. I really like that item. I wonder what he would do.
It's going to be a smoke out, and I think he's going to be caught out here. X marks, as well as the Torrent. Mars is here as well. Got to spear him back to the tower, and he's going to be delayed on his Boots of Travel, but even longer. So nice rotation out from by Spiderpigz. And I think they're going to.
They did have the sentry down, but it wasn't in a position to where it could catch them coming up the left side hill.
Yeah. For sure. And obviously top lane goes down as well with no Primal Split open for the Brewmaster.
They might look for a
They still might try and kill him actually, yeah, and as I said, there's still nothing that the Brewmaster can do, and he's going to go down, yeah. So that early Primal Split usage is really causing a bit of pain there for the side of Jesse. And, I'm just going to X. He's going to boat as well when he sees the supports coming in from Chickenfires. I don't think that was more of a defensive one than it was for any kind of aggressive play there, because experience more than fine altogether. But yeah, Medusa's 5.8k net worth now. Got the Yasha as well, and he's probably going to be playing around the top lane. And like I said, Chickenfighters can't do much about it, right? They've just picked up the Midas from the Wraith King. There's no Boots of Travel on the Tinker, so I think it's going to be more of a late game kind of game, to be honest. And there's not really much.
I don't think anything too explosive is going to be happening unless this Tinker
starts popping off.
When he gets his blink, starts popping off. But I don't think Spiderpigz are silly enough to let themselves just chain feed to a Tinker like you would see in your pubs.
For sure. I mean, there's going to be probably a lot of play around perhaps this Mars Blink, right? I mean, he has a lot of aggressive potential, particularly with the Conquer as well. So it's probably going to be like a 4 protect 1 star for Spiderpigz. With Chickenfighters, they've got a bit more greed with the double core, right? Talking of aggression, they do pop the smoke right now. There's a medallion picked up as well by Conquer. So really focusing in on this early game aggression. Tinker is going to TP in, and this might actually catch him here. There's going to be an X. Yeah, this Tinker's going to get caught, and with the Mars Arena ulti as well, he's definitely falling. The spear and the arrow doesn't connect, but they still have enough damage to really secure this kill on the Tinker. And he does have his travels,
he had already bought his bots.
Yeah,
not as bad.
But it's looking like he's going to lose his tower. And I feel like whenever you lose towers on the Tinker, it's something that you definitely don't like, right? But there is going to be they're going to defend it though, actually. Brave King does TP in, going to stun up the Mars, and Mars is going to go down, but here comes the Medusa ulti, going to spear him back, but the Conquer ulti as well, and I think they are going to be able to defend it. Conquer is still spawned up here, actually, going to be stunned out.
Red buff's wearing off.
Very tanky though, another Brave King stun, and then the stun from the Earth Spirit as well. Conquer is going to fall, they're going to pop out the reincarnation from Wraith King as well. Tinker's going to start laying down the March Machines. Mirana doesn't have any leaps left, but it's going to be fine. So, yeah, really showing the kind of importance they're saying to defending these towers, right? And this is the point I was trying to make.
Defense.
Yeah, because when you have a Tinker with travels, right, like he can defend almost every tower. So really holding on to these towers just provides so much value for Chicken Fighters if they can do so. And you can sort of see the risk they played out there, and it paid off.
Yeah, Prophet ulti did an insane amount of damage in that fight. He was really late level 6, but instantly puts it to good use. Well,
Spiderpigz are just running it down
back.
though.
5 heroes. Yeah. 5 heroes back mid.
And
this time no glyph, power will die.
Actually, I hear the Marina popped as well, and yeah.
Just Prophet is dying.
He's trying to get perhaps a deep ward, and he does get a deep ward, but it was immediately dewarded actually. So.
Yep. Spiderpigz have a very defensive observer ward on this hill by their ancients.
Yeah, I think they was almost expecting that, right? I think they was expecting that. But yeah,
so
this medallion by Conquer, right? Kind of makes sense, I guess, because he's kind of putting all the eggs on the basket of Medusa, and also gives
solo cresting as Medusa.
Yeah, and it gives him more aggressive potential as well, right? You're not picking up medallion to sit back and farm jungle. Even though he's doing it now, but you get the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. Their game plan definitely looks to be that their 4 heroes with their stun into arrow into stun kind of chain kills is what they've been looking to do for most of this game.
Yeah. So Zippy's going to try it again.
I wonder if they can. Keep up with the Tinker, Nature's Prophet kind of map shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm talking to the Prophet, he does TP, but to the other hill instead, and does sentry out, and this time places a deep ward. Wasn't spotted by Spiderpigz, but we might see some kind of plays it on the right side, so that's going to give him out. But I mean, so far, Spiderpigz are 5k net worth up, so but there is a lot of greed going here and a lot of investment really. We talk about the Tinker just in general, but also the Midas picked up by the Wraith King, and he is trying to build towards a Radiance as well. So definitely a slower paced game for Chicken Fighters. So it's going to be almost the onus is going to be on Spiderpigz to try and force some kind of aggression, which they have been doing so far. Obviously the tier 1 mid and the tier 1 top down as well.
I think the movements that Spiderpigz have been making...
actually, Treant is right. I was waiting for this rotation from the Tinker, but I think he's ended up just going to die actually from the Tinker Mercs Machines, but they're going to trade out most likely because Conquer is here, gets down the boat. Jesse is going to TP in. We use the Primal Split, and Medusa has been caught. Used her ulti as well, so kind of an unfortunate time. And she's very low on mana, so I think she is going to die. So this aggression is going to get punished by the sides of Spiderpigz. So they trade out the kind of win conditions. They might get more as well. Blink does get used by the Mars, and Conquer does TP out as well. So it's only going to be a 2-for-1. But overall, I think Chicken Fighters will take that, right? Seeing as Wraith King's still farming.
Very big for the Wraith King.
So
because his farm. I was about to say the movements that Spiderpigz have been making with their 4 heroes have been really kind of hindering the Wraith King's farm, because he's been forced to kind of run away from what they've been doing. So it's kind of slowing down his farm speed. But that kill is huge for him.
Yeah.
It brings him a lot closer to the Medusa net worth, whereas he was about 3k gold behind her. Most of the net worth lead was just Medusa over Wraith King before that kill.
Yeah.
Although Tinker did die when he was like 100 gold away from his blink, which is not...
Does have it now though, so there's that. And,
there's the Treant niche against the Tinker where he can catch the Tinker in the trees.
And that was definitely shown top right. Obviously, perhaps a little bit too aggressive, but they did kill the Tinker, even though it did cost them the Medusa as well. But yeah, you're seeing that they do have other ways of dealing with this Tinker, even though it's not in the most conventional method.
You see, Chicken Fighters in the top. They are the ones that have actually Observer and Sentry the cliff in preparation for potentially Trian being there.
For sure.
So Prima's a experienced Tinker player. He knows all these things.
Yeah.
He's easy on centering himself. You see bottom.
Yeah.
He knows that is how most people will try and kill you on Tinker.
We're talking of the Trian is just sort of securing this Roche, and it's going to get spotted out by this Trian, but it's far too little and far too late for Chicken Fighters to try and defend it.
It's so hard to contest Roche with a Tinker.
Yeah.
There's no real safe space for him around the Roche pit anymore, considering how open this area is.
It's going to be an Aegis now on the Medusa. He's finished his Manta and working towards his Skadi as well. So, I mean, I'm expecting Medusa to use this Aegis, right, to push towers, but, you know, Tinker kind of very difficult to push into now that he's got the blink, so...
You might just use this Aegis to... I think 3 items Medusa is going to be the go-to timing. Okay. Whether he goes maybe MKB 3rd item, I don't think he wants to go BKB, considering he's going for the Skadi. That's a real 0 damage build.
So, bot is pushed in as well by the Tinker, so we might see a rotation from Spiderpigz. Instead they're going to try and invade the triangle. TB's actually top to defend against the Prophet invasion. Yeah, so he's going to come back. Tinker is still putting in work in the bottom lane actually, and we're starting to sort of see, now it's in the mid game, we're starting to see that the Trian, the Prophet as well as the Tinker starting to cause issues for Spiderpigz just because of...
They do have the Trian though, who can keep the towers alive against this pressure.
That's a good point actually. So this little whittling down, unless they really secure the kill on the tower, it can be healed up, but they are going to take down the tier 2, and it's going to force a TP up from Mirana now that mid has been taken. They do see the Prophet actually on that high ground ward, and he might be getting caught out. There is 2 leaps, but decides against it, and Tinker is cutting down bot. So the Radiant are going to have to deal with that. Trian is still here. I don't think he's going to catch him in time before this TP, and it does go through. In the meantime, they're going to jump into on this Brewmaster. They're going to spear him as well as the combo from the Conqueror, and I think this Brewmaster is going to fall as he does. So the Tinker is here to lay down the spam, so they're not going to be able to walk up high ground, but Brewmaster is down, who's very low on the net worth actually, behind the position 4 on the side of Spiderpigz, but not much farm to be had when there's Wraith King and Tinker tanking all the last hits.
Tinker's actually going for Aetherland instead of the straight Bloodstone that I see most Tinkers buy. Obviously Aetherlands is a very nice item on Tinker. Allows you to play even further away from the fights, extra range on your laser and your march.
Oh, talking of other action, actually, it's going to be an instant TP. It's going to be forced out of the overgrowth from Trian, and Prophet is going to be dying. The 2 Trian brothers are fighting once again actually, and talking of other fights actually, Medusa's going to get gone on here. He's kind of isolated actually, and losing all of her mana. Tinker's here as well as the Wraith King, and she's definitely going to die once. Is she going to die a second time is the question. Jessie is here, has Primal Split as well actually, but there's only Mars here. The brawl is actually missed. Medusa is going to pop ulti, but instantly kind of thrown up in the air by Panda. And Tinker is TPing back to get mana. There's still kind of a little bit of engagement. The TP in from Tinker actually. Wraith King does still have Reincarnation though. He's going to be forced to use it, but Medusa is still staying strong, uses the mana as well, and she's very healthy actually. Panda's going to come out of the Primal Split and is now under control. There's actually a really nice boat catch, just 2 in the end, and Earthfit's going to go down as well as the Trian. There's so much march from the scenes actually, but it doesn't feel like that Radiant are even that scared of it. Chessie's going to go down once,
doing any damage.
And Mars is low, nearly dies to the Prophet ulti. Conquer's low as well, and they're both teams are going to back off. Tinker is here with full mana though. He's going to jump in, going to kill the Tinker off, going to kill the Mirana as well, and they might be forced to go on the Medusa. There's 2 buybacks actually. Wraith King does not have ultimate though, diving into the tier 1 tower. Tinker's run out of mana, so he's going to be forced to TP back to base, and Wraith King is going to go down. So a really long fight, and I'm not sure who actually came out ahead. Medusa didn't die, but neither did Tinker. So
there's 2 buybacks as well from Radiant.
True.
I think it was Radiant favored until those buybacks. I think it was more of an even trade.
Yeah. So
but a lot of gold going to the pocket of this Tinker.
Yeah, this gold change was kind of even, just probably in favour of Chicken Fighters, and seeing as maybe Mirana and Trian did buy back, but that
It's
was
the
the
two
Aegis
supports
though.
buying back. They're not losing much gold.
True, true. But that was the Aegis now for Medusa, so they won't have that for the next engagement. But you're sort of seeing how these team fights are starting to develop, though. They're going to be long and drawn out. Tinker's, I think, TP back to base twice there just in one team fight. So if the fights can be delayed, you can see the threat of this Tinker in these team
Quick
fights.
feed from Prophet.
Yep, so Zuba is going to die.
TP into full vision instantly. Oh,
Tinker rockets.
He's doing a lot of it.
If he got one more rocket off, it would have perhaps killed him, but it's going to be dodged by the Yules anyway. But yeah, yeah.
It always feels bad when your Aegis usage is basically you get caught out and feed, and your team has to come help you. It's not the greatest way to use your Aegis, but it was running out soon anyway, so I'm sure they're okay with. Brewmaster actually has finished Aghanims, which is really strong power timing for him.
Yeah, and
he is just on straight Aghanims, nothing else.
Yeah.
Gives him 2 charges of his Primal Split now. Yeah. So as long as these Brewlings don't get killed.
Talking of bottom lane actually, Tinker. Oh, there was a Yules out from the Mirana. He's going to jump in, doesn't have any more leaps. But I think that is going to spot out that there is a ward up here, because I think the rockets were going through. Actually, Tinker's going to probably try and kill this Treant before he goes down, but Kunkka is here as well. I think this Tinker is going to call out. The arrows coming in as well, so was committing onto that Treant, but was not worth it, seeing as Kunkka does kill the Tinker in the end.
He played it safe on the Mirana kill, and then didn't play it safe on the Treant and gets punished.
Ends up dying. Medusa does be mid, defends against the Wraith King.
Just die back on the Treant, so he's dead for longer than the Tinker is actually.
Yeah, Aether Lens is done on the Tinker, and it looks like he's building towards Shivas instead of the Bloodstone, which I know you mentioned the importance of the Bloodstone, but in some ways I kind of understand it, right? Because the Bloodstone is useful if they're kind of committing heavy onto you, but for the most part he's playing very far back. Like in the last team fight, he was able to get all his spells off. Wraith King provided a lot of space.
When he saw he bought Aether Lens, that made me feel like he was gonna either go Hex or BKB next item, because I think that's usually what they do. The Aether Lens with the Hex obviously allows you to chain the Hex from far. Aether Lens of BKB allows you to just kind of go in and they can't really touch you. The Shivas is interesting though. I feel like he's not dying. The armor is not gonna stop him from dying. Honestly, the damage and the slow is nice on the Shivas. Like they have. Obviously, he's a much better Tinker player than I am.
Yeah, no,
so
I understand.
I'm sure we're missing something.
No, I mean, also,
I don't think I fully understand.
I mean, the attack speed and the regen as well is maybe something to think about.
Underrated parts.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like Medusa is regenerating that much, but the attack speed slow is definitely big.
Yeah.
Well, they do have the Solar Crest to kind of counteract that.
Yeah. So talking about this Ags on the Brewmaster as well, I think it's something that we never would have seen before, but I think Ags on this hero is so good now, obviously, with the change of the patch. It offers 2 charges for Primal Split, so it always will have it available. There might be an engagement here actually. There's going to be one of the Primal Splits used immediately. The Conga Boat is coming out. It wasn't really used that effectively. Mars ulting in the background, however, is going to jump onto the Earth Spirit and the Prophet. There's actually not many people dying just as yet. Actually, there's a lot of kind of back and forth. Mirana's jumping in on the Tinker, but that might be his death. Actually committed very deep on the Tinker, wasn't able to get anything for it. Medusa is right-clicking onto this Prophet, though, who is most likely going to fall. Actually, the Sprout does survive him. Actually, Reincarnation is going to be popped. The Prophet does die in the background, and actually, Jesse does have a second round of Primal Spling, actually. And Wraith King only has one of these lives available, so if he dies here, he's going to be dead for one more right-click. Can he get him? No, the mischance from Tinker was enough. And in the meantime, actually, Mars does go down, and this Tinker, actually, with so many TVs back to base, is going to be the difference. And Medusa now isolated, and I think she's going to be falling. It's only Kunkka and Medusa, but she is staying and fighting. And the X marks onto the Earth Spirit. He's most likely going down, but this mischance from the Tinker, actually, lasers coming out full start, actually, and she is surviving for now, but this is a 5 versus 2, and I think this Medusa is eventually going to fall as she does. And Kunkka might be dying as well. Prophet TPing in, is going for the TP. Is there any stun? No, he gets away just about with that TP. So yeah, a 1 team fight from Chicken Fighters, and the moment they can't kill this Tinker is the moment they are losing these team fights, actually. So an interesting response.
Tinker and Medusa both went untouched that fight. However, Medusa she just cannot, when her BKB runs out, even with her BKB, you've seen from this, like I said when she had the Scatty queued up, that I thought she was going to go maybe an MKB afterwards instead of the BKB. Because you saw, she's not doing enough damage. She just does not do enough damage. Like, she pops her... Wraithking died. They were 3v1. She popped her BKB, and he just walked away.
Oh, I think...
In the entire duration of her BKB, she couldn't kill him.
I thought Treant was going to get caught out there, but there was no detection, so he's going to be fine. But yeah, you're right, though. I totally have to agree. Like, this BKB is useful for, 10 or 9 seconds now. But these fights are lasting a very, very long time, and I think the longer these fights are going, the better it is for this Tinker, right? Like, he's doing so much damage with the Shivas, with the March Machines, let alone just the utility from the laser as well, forcing that this Medusa not doing any damage, actually, in these team fights.
You saw in that last game, she survived for so long, but she just wasn't, she was just getting chain lasers, she was just stood there.
Yeah.
It took them ages to kill her, but she was not doing anything while she was dying.
Yeah, so there's gonna be...
Like, if she has MKB instead of BKB, she's still really tanky, but she can then at least do some damage through the laser with the MKB.
And it looks like Thug does agree with you. He's going to be queuing up that MKB, but perhaps it might be a little bit too little and a little bit too late. They're looking for this Roshan that isn't just up, and they are going to walk up higher ground, but Charlie is here on the high ground, stuns Medusa instantly, and actually the Primal Split, it comes out from the Brewmaster straight away. Tinker is obviously laying down the rockets as well. He's going to throw up the Medusa. I think they need to catch some of the backliners for the side of Spiderpigz, but in the end, they're both going to just back out, actually, and can't find anything.
That is the way that the
long arrow onto the Prophet, and yeah, Zibbe is going to die once more, which probably isn't too notable. He's been dying all game.
There's a dieback. He did buyback in the last fight.
Yeah, right.
They can maybe get Roche off this.
Roche has spawned, actually. It's an early spawn for Roshan, and this Aegis could be useful. Cheese obviously as well, so his Chicken Fighter is going to contest. Treant, Prophet is obviously down, but they have to assume Roshan is going on, seeing as Spiderpigz were positioned. What are you laughing at?
I was coughing, actually.
Sorry.
Like I was saying about the Brewmaster Aghanims,
yeah.
When you first pick it up, it's really strong, but the way the charges work, they don't cool down simultaneously. So it's basically a 4-minute cooldown for you to have both the ultis again.
Yeah.
So quite often, it kind of ends up where the first time you get it, it's really strong, but every fight after that, you only really have one ulti.
Right.
Because it's 150 seconds, you get one charge, and then it's another 150 seconds until you get the next charge.
They don't, go straight away, back to back.
Yeah. They're not simultaneous, so you're not going to always have two ults in every fight.
Yeah. So that is the Aegis on Medusa.
Is the downside.
Yeah. So Aegis on Medusa now. There's still the tier 2 top and the tier 2 bottom as well, which I can only assume is what they're going to be going for before they walk up high ground, and perhaps they won't even walk up high ground considering they are playing against the Tinker. Spiderlegs might be useful actually if they want to try and catch the Tinker in the trees, which he is playing in top tree. It is here as well. Might be able to get an overgrowth, but instantly blinks away, so decides against it. Kunkka was TPing in, but yeah, wasn't enough to respond. They might be setting some kind of bait bot. Mars is here. Perhaps was waiting for something.
The arena does break trees.
True.
That's what they're going to try for a blind jump onto Tinker.
It's setting up actually down bot.
Yeah, no ward.
So an interesting kind of setup play by Mitch, but Supreme...
This is an ambitious play.
Yeah, Supreme kind of knows what's up. He does have BKB now as well. Just picked it up, actually. Yeah, you're right. They are fighting for the outpost, but Tinker is bot. Mirana is TPing as well as Mars, actually, so there might be some kind of engagement here. The Kunkka does get the torrent off, but actually here comes the Jesse's Primal Split. The tree and Prophet does die immediately. Tinker is here though as well. Throws up Medusa straight away. Tinker right in the background. Here comes a really nice Mars ulti though, and they do actually commit a lot onto this Elf Spirit right now that is most likely going to be falling. Tinker is out of mana though, so is forced to be back, and that will be that actually. So a 2 for 1 for the side of Spiderpigz.
15 seconds to spoil it.
Yeah, Tinker is
I'm
to be back in.
surprised they let Wraithking just kind of walk away.
Yeah. As was I actually. I thought they was going to commit there, but they were more than happy with their 2 kills. And Wraithking is still here. He does have reincarnation though, so they'll have to kill him twice if they commit at all. But there is a 5v1 right now, or 4v1, seeing as Mirana is dead. And Tinker is TPing back in. Very bold play by Charlie actually to walk up front, considering that this Aegis is
the Wraithking power. I mean,
He's going to go straight in, actually. Stuns up. He's going to fight into this Medusa as well as the current Kunkka Torrent. Jesse is here. Does have Primal Spring if they want to. But here comes the stun onto Wraith King. Primal Split is used. And Tinker is laying down the March of Machines, actually. And Kunkka is dying very quickly. Using the cheese. The Torrent is used as well, but Earth Spirit's back alive now. And instant tries to go for the background onto the Mars. BKB was popped by the Medusa, who's run out of mana. The Rulings are dying, but here comes the ulti, immediately going for the heroes that they can kill, and Earth Spirit is going to fall. Tinker is back with full mana though, immediately starts to go to town onto the Medusa, and looks like she's going to die at least once. Has the Aegis, however, does not have BKB when she respawns, and Trian is going to be dying, but can they kill Medusa is the question. This is the hero that needs to go down. There's going to be a buyback from Trian in the meantime. Tinker's running out of mana though. He's forced to buy back. He's forced to go back. The Wraith King is going to die once. Still has Reincarnation though, however. Jesse, actually they're going to pop the ulti as well from Medusa. They're going to try and commit onto this Wraith King, does not have Reincarnation, and he's definitely going to fall. Prophet is here, Tinker is as well, but they can't seem to catch him, so they're going to have to kill the Nature's Prophet. There is actually the Spider Legs I was talking about. It does not get a chance to get the X marks off though, and Tinker is going to be fine. But Wraith King did die, and there's going to be a pause. So
nice for us.
Yeah.
The Medusa MKB finish you saw that in that fight is huge. So they can't just laser her and chain laser. Like, she gets lasered and she still just stood there and killed the Wraith King. Because this Wraith King, I mean, he has this Radiance Halberd build, but he does not have any armor at all. So this evasion stacking is not as effective as it used to be.
I think it's really interesting.
And you're kind of seeing.
Go on, I'll go on.
You're kind of seeing the two dynamics of the teams where Spiderpigz are all inning on this Medusa 1v5 carry with you're seeing these Kunkka's items. They're all defensive, all team items, and then Dire's kind of all inning on the anti-Medusa items. There's an interesting matchup of styles. Yeah,
I mean, I was going to say, because these team fights are so weird, right? Like, they go on for so long, and it's like you have these immovable objects versus like the unstoppable force with the Medusa versus the Tinker, right? And it's really interesting to kind of see, because they can't really commit onto the Medusa, and they can't really catch the Tinker either. So Spiderpigz are like, I mean, we saw the Mars like ulted just for the Earth Spirits. They're trying to kill the heroes that they can catch and the heroes that they can kill. But in the end, it's still working out because they can kill Wraith King twice. It's just the Tinker that they're struggling to really deal with. He has the BKB as well, so it is not an easy task of bringing down this Tinker.
For sure, for sure. I think this game is going to come down to this Medusa BKB and this Tinker's. Actually, Tinker's not going for the. He's going for the. He has the Arcane Blink queued up.
So
he's not going for a Hex.
I did hint at this early on in terms of the items, and it seems strange, obviously, because the Arcane Blink, in terms of the reduction is obviously going to be completely useless, obviously, because you have the rearm. But the cast point, particularly on spells that have a longer cast point, like maybe March of Machines, even Laser to an extent, can be useful. And obviously, you can continually refresh the Arcane Blink. So and it's something that I saw Miracle do a lot when this first came out, and it does look like it's going to be useful. Seeing as Supreme is picking up here.
It's honestly strong, but I wonder what his reasoning is as to why he thinks it's stronger than something like a Hex or an E-Blade, which could harder nullify this Medusa's game fight impact.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wants to limit the time they have to try and catch him with like an X or something.
Yeah, without a doubt. So Wraith King's been.
It doesn't work on the Reon, does it? That'd be way too
I think it does actually.
I don't think it does, because Realm's just a time to Realm.
I mean, we'll see, but I remember like seeing it on Miracle.
I think it makes the animation look quicker, but it doesn't actually make the Realm quicker.
I guess we might
see. I remember seeing an Enigma with an Arcane Blink, and he does his like full black hole like wob in like 2 seconds.
Okay.
The black hole keeps
we'll wait and see, because he is building it actually. The arrow almost.
He might change his mind,
but. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously, the rearm is kind of quick anyway, but, obviously, it's a very, very strong skill, so 0.75, if it can be shorter than 0.75, it's going to be very, very useful. The AC is finished on Charlie now, and he's looking to actually walk up high ground. Here comes the Earth Spirit roll as well. They're going to catch this Kunkka who does not have BKB, and he's definitely going to fall. Mars is going to try and save him, but there's no way you're going to be able to save this Kunkka. Does die, does have buyback, though, and I think that's going to be that. for the most part. So this is kind of the first time I've seen Chicken Fighters actually get aggressive on the map. Well, they might actually catch the tree in here, but there's no vision. So he is going to be fine. Error is here. There's going to be an overgrowth actually, so they are going to commit onto him. I think he was fine unless he
missed the dust. Yeah, he missed the dust.
Yeah, I think Trent thought he was going to die there, but he was fine if he didn't use the overgrowth, but he uses it and does die as a result. So this game is really back and forth though. I thought Spiderpigz were having a real big advantage, and then Chicken Fighters get ahead, and then vice versa.
Medusa and Kunkka both going.
So here comes the Arcane Blink. I'm
the...
kind of curious. I mean, that looks pretty fast, but
I mean, it's 0.7.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna watch him just a little bit because I'm curious to sort of see if it doesn't work.
I think it was quicker. I feel like it was quicker.
Yeah.
Definitely, I mean, the animation always looks quick.
Top lane, Mars does get seen here actually, and here comes the Tinker with the BKB. Mars has BKB himself though, and he's going to immediately TP out, and there is no physical damage, but Morana, however, might get caught out perhaps, but...
it's not quicker.
Not quicker, no?
Quicker.
Okay.
No, when you click on it when you use it, you can see like when the thing comes up, it still says 0.7.
Oh, arrow does hit actually onto the Brewmaster, 5 second stun, and that might be the difference between him surviving and him dying. Morana, however, is definitely going to be falling down. Morana uses BKB, does kill out the backhander as well. And I think Charlie might be going down as well. Tinker is laying down a lot of siege fire though, but is it enough to survive? Oh, and it looks like it's going to be enough. Nice sprout as well by the Prophet, stopping any kind of rotation. From the Kunkka.
That Torrent was huge. Brewmaster's ulti was 0.1 seconds before going off. Gets caught by the Torrent. But you're kind of seeing this Medusa is not so easy for her to get off her damage or get off enough damage.
Yeah.
They have a lot of ways to kind of just walk away from her. Like even you saw just the sprout onto the Brewmaster, not even onto the Medusa, just to lose the vision.
Yeah.
It kept him alive for an extra like 2-3 seconds.
Yeah, it was a nice sprout play as well to keep the Wraith King alive.
Sprout, most underrated spell in the game. Gotta be up there.
Yeah, I've been talking about it. Looks like he's building towards a halberd as well, so that's going to be even more ways of dealing with.
This is like we said in the draft. They're probably going to itemize 1 or 2 halberds in the late game, because Medusa ranged carry, halberd 5 second duration on ranged heroes, and Medusa no status resistance in her build.
Yeah, obviously can't even build it from the Satanic Eva because that was taken out. From the new patch.
I'll be interested to see if she disassembles her manta and builds an SNY, because I think status resistance on carries late game is almost kind of in certain games like that, I feel like it's a must-have on a ranged carry.
Yeah,
like getting halberded for 5 seconds is just.
Also, I would like to point out that if she picks up SNY, the increased self HP regen from the Royal Jelly will be like 2.5 instead of 2.3. So 30% self HP regen does apply to Royal Jelly. So
Paladin sword as well.
Yeah.
That Royal Jelly regen through the roof.
Yeah, you're going to be getting at least like maybe 3 health regen from the Royal Jelly if he does pick up the SNY.
And you got to keep in mind the insight aura from the pipe as well.
True,
that regen.
That's true actually. But does that count because it's not health self HP? Because does it count because it's not your pipe? I don't know if that works.
It's still just healing. It's still healing.
But it says self HP regen, or does that?
I'm looking at the Paladin sword.
Like if you look at Sange and
Self HP regen and lifesteal.
Does that count towards like the pipe regen you get? I'm not sure.
I think it just means you don't increase regen when you heal others.
Okay.
I still think getting healed from an aura counts as self HP regen.
Interesting.
But I don't know for sure. The Paladin sword definitely.
Oh yeah, the Paladin sword definitely does. But I'm just thinking about how much Royal Jelly HP regen.
Level 25 talent. I assume she was going to take split shot modifiers.
But she doesn't have lifesteal in her build though, so.
She has the Paladin sword.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I mean, is she going to keep that over a potential tier 4 though?
Okay, let's see what tier 4s would she take. Spell Prism. I feel like Medusa's one of the few heroes that Spell Prism's not the most broken item in the game on.
Yeah.
But I still think it's good. Illusionist Cape, she would probably take. Minotaur Horn. Maybe what just dropped? Minotaur Horn. Will she take it? Oh no, that was dire. That was bad.
Stormcrafter picked up as well. This is probably my favourite tier 4 item actually. It's kind of like a mini Yules.
Dude, the Zap is underrated.
I really like the item actually. Obviously one of the new tier 4s from
like
the
a hero like Earth Spirit. I think it's really strong, like extra damage output.
But here comes the third Roche though, and Chicken Farms does know it's going on though, because Treant did send his Treants in. Wraith King is here though, and looking like Spiderpigz are going to sort of back off. They don't want to commit too much and get caught in the pick. Tinker is coming down as well. It's got travels onto the Sprout as well. The arrow nearly hits onto the Prophet there. That could have been the initiation that Spiderpigz were looking for. But I mean, how can they walk into this pit? There's so many March machines, and as a result, Charlie's going to be fine and just walk into the pit. And Spiderpigz are going to have a decision to make right now. Picking up the illusion as well. Earth Spirit does roll away, so he's fine. The March Machines does end, but Tinker can easily TP in. And in the meantime, Prophet is TPing down bot, and Tinker is TPing top as well, decides against it. Arrow does come in, hits onto Roche, however, not onto the Wraith King. It's about half HP. The Lotus Orb does stun back onto the Wraith King, and he's taking a lot of damage. So is the Tinker.
That snake, that one snake gave her, I think, 1200 mana back.
Roche is very low though, so there's going to be a commitment from both teams. There's actually the Refresher side instead of the Ags. Tinker, Prophet is still tipping bot though, so they're going to have to make a decision now, and they're going to have to make it right now, because here comes Earth Spirit on the roll. Actually, Brewmaster is going to get the split off, and all things considered. And Mars ulti goes off as well. They're going to commit onto the Earth Spirit as well. Tinker does get used up, but the Mirana is falling low. The arrow does get popped away from the BKB. Tinker's fighting off, trying to kill the Mirana, which she does over here on the right-hand side. Medusa is stormed up from the Panda, but these Brewlings are going to die very quickly though. Oh, but he comes back just from it straight away. The Mars stun was not actually enough to land, but I think Jessie is still going to go down. In the meantime, they were looking about trying to finish Roche, but Jessie is going to go down eventually. Tinker is now back trying to survive. Jessie uses the Minotaur Horn and gets the blink away, actually survives. And in the meantime, there's still a fight for Roche. Medusa does pop ulti as well. Tinker is running out of mana though, so he's going to be forced to go back. Mars is about to go down, nearly dies from one more hit away from the Earth Spirit roll, does not connect onto him either. Tinker is still back in base, he's TPing back. Medusa BKB is running out. Charlie is going to die once, does have reincarnation though, but Roche is going to go down. Who can pick it up? It is actually the Medusa who picks it up, and Trent is going to fall down in the meantime. Conquer is dying just from the Tinker spam alone. Medusa is going to die once, does have Aegis, but she is very isolated. Mars is here. He's going to try and use some kind of a useful way. He's very low himself actually, might die just with the right clicks. Medusa does have TP but can't get away, and now it's Medusa versus the world. Conquer does buy back, comes back into the fight, kills off the tree and the Nature Prophet, and Earth Spirit is going to roll away. So absolute madness. They actually catch the Tinker though. The arrow comes off for the first time. Tinker's going to die in the team fight in the last very long time. He does end up dying. So really good stage of events, I think, for the side of Spiderpigz. But that team fight went on for so long, I have no idea what's even happened really. But
Tinker stole the Refresher shard.
Okay. Really useful on Tinker, obviously. So
no, they can. The Brewmaster gives you both your charge and your ulti. You can have 4 primal splits.
So a lot of crap went on in that team fight. Both buybacks were from the Conquer and the Tree, and obviously Aegis was used up as well.
Profit took them from Rex, the whole Rex.
Didn't even notice that either. But Tinker is dead though, so I think they're going to try and force.
They use cheese as well.
They're going to try and force the buyback actually, and they're going to jump in on the Medusa. They do use the second spot, primal split, immediately going to chuck up the Medusa, but can they kill anyone else is the question. She is quite deep in the base, but Tinker is still not buying back, and as a result, they're just going to try and delay it.
Radiant losing their tier 4 tower.
Tier 4 tower is going down, but Medusa is still quite healthy though. They've done quite a good job of delaying it, but Tinker is still down for 27 seconds, and I think they're going to be able to take racks. Unless, they're gonna back away actually. They're scared of this Tinker coming alive. I'm going to do some right clicks onto this Wraith King, but he's more than fine. And Mars actually to be back because there was a lot of pressure coming in.
They didn't heal the tier 4 with the tree, and they just let it I guess they weren't paying attention.
Oh yeah, it
They
does go
lost their
down.
tier 4 for free, even with the Treant. They just lost it
And they're
to
going to have
creeps.
to buy back. There is no basher from the Wraith King, so Medusa is going to get away for free. So yeah, all things considered, that was a really good series of events, I think, for Chicken Fighters. No buyback on the Tinker. They get the Rax bottom as well as the tier 4, so there's always a rat potential from this Prophet. And he has the Aghanim Shard as well, which I think is one of the greatest actually of all the game. Does a lot of work with his great Treants, as you can see. 108 base damage, and for a hero like Prophet, right, like he's not doing too much in the team fight, so he can be more than happy to be, you know, pushing bot, for example. So Spiderpigz, their lack of mobility is you know, hurting them for sure. And as a result, it's showing in the net worth lead as well, with 7k net worth lead behind.
One thing I will say, I am very surprised that Kunkka did not take the Tidebringer Cleave talent. Especially considering he's buying this crit. I think this talent is... I think the Ghost Ship fleet is heavily overrated. The Tidebringer Cleave is insane. It's actually... It's like a... It's insane.
Yeah.
It's like a PA crit. Basically, if you crit on your Tidebringer, it's like a PA crit.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you. I mean, like, you know, he's building the Chrysalis now, but you know, his initial build was very utility-based, right? And I guess the Ghost Ship fleet offers a little bit more utility. But if he's going to go back for the Chrysalis, you kind of expect him to go for the Cleave. Yeah,
I think the Ghost Ship fleet, the damage is probably not what you're using it for. It's more for guarantee the buff and to like extend the duration of the buff. I think the damage is not that. I mean, you can chain stun if you buy a refresher orb, but I don't think he's going to do that.
And talking of items,
I just think the Cleave talent is underrated. I think this talent is one of the strongest.
Yeah, and talking of items, though, Medusa is looking to be building towards the Rapira. He does actually fully commit for it as well, actually. Backpacking the NKB. But she is a little bit isolated, actually. I think they see her because Wraith King's walking up straight into her, actually. Tinker is TPing in as well. They cannot be affording to lose the Medusa on. A ward placed, actually. They're going to catch the Prophet, and then instantly the Panda is going to ulti as well. Prophet does go down immediately. They actually see the Tinker in the background. They actually get a Yules off. Can they catch him is the question. Medusa isn't here, though. She's been Yuled up, and as a result, Tinker does get away. He's going to be forced to pop the Stone Blast, yeah, and they're going to back off altogether. Yeah, and so... could have been quite risky from the Medusa there, but ends up getting away.
She was forced to pop her BKB really early.
Yep. And now
that was a nice blink out Tinker in the arena.
And we're starting to see now Chicken Fighters are restricting and tightening their grip on this game, really, just because of the Rax bottom, but also just that the Tinker and the Prophet just kind of pressure from all these side lanes is starting to really hurt Spiderpigz. That they have to walk around their moving tower right there, which is the Medusa. They have to play around her, so they don't have a chance to really deal with these lanes. Whereas Chicken Fighters, they have Prophet TP, they have Tinker who can always be anywhere at any part of the map at any time. So they have a lot more utility in that respect.
People are wanting you to show buyback status.
Oh, sorry. There we go, as they do take the tier 2 mid, actually, and forced...
He still has the refresher shot on Brewmaster.
Yeah.
He's holding that for when he needs it. And you're kind of seeing... we touched on this earlier, the Medusa buying the BKB third item. It just becomes easier and easier for Dire to play the fights the later this game goes. And Medusa has a 5-second BKB, and Dire has 2 halberds, they have Brewmaster, they have, okay, the laser's not going to do much against the Rapier, but they have Yules. It's just so easy to kite out this Medusa and just stop her being able to do damage. Because she has that, she's itemized to do as much damage as she can in the small duration she gets to hit.
They've had enough. They're going to try and force a fight here. Walking up at the high ground, there is a ward from the Dire actually, and Treant's the first one to go in, and he's going to instantly die. Jesse's going to use the refresher, and him instantly going to try and force up Medusa. She used the Stone Gaze as well actually. There's a good Mars ult as well as the nice Ghost Slipstream, kills off the Wraith King completely actually. And they're going to be able to catch Error most likely as well. Tinker is going to be forced to TP back. Prophet is pushing down bottom, but that was, all things considered, a pretty good fight for Spiderpigz. Unfortunately, they're not able to push too far out of their base, but they do kill Wraith King, which is...
Surprised he's not sending his Treants to the tier 4. I guess they have a Treant, but this Treant has just not been healing his towers. They've lost a lot of towers this game to just chip damage. which
Yeah.
is usually not what you want to see when you have a Treant on your team, especially with tier 4s that do not naturally regen. They lost it purely to creeps, just over time. I guess there is a lot going on in these team fights, so it
Yeah.
is obviously difficult to focus on so many things at once.
So it looks like it's going to be a late-ish respawn from
I've never
Roshan.
actually looked. May spawn it has.
I literally have
They
no
don't
idea.
even May spawn yet.
I'm making it up, bro. I have no idea, bro. I literally have
Okay,
no
on that
idea.
kind of mini-map, Roshan may spawn in 30
I see
seconds.
this clock and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna make up a word and pretend I know what
Actually,
that
I mean,
means. So.
50 minutes into the game, that's a late Roshan. That's pretty late.
Yeah, it's
50
very
minutes,
late
that's
from
late.
the timer, you know. Like, what does this even mean, bro? What does this clock even mean? Like,
Okay, don't look at the clock. By the mini-map, bottom left. You have your mini-map on the right.
yeah,
That is
Roshan
so
may
disgusting.
respawn in 8 seconds. Yeah, my minimap is a really weird position. Probably should change that, actually.
Dude, that's what league players do.
Yeah.
That's what league players
I'm not
do.
a league player, though. You are,
You're
though.
just a degenerate. Actually, I have not played. I played like one game of
well
league
done.
last month.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Santa will reward you for not playing the
I
game that
think
spoken.
has finished that Hex now as well.
Yeah.
He's also level 25. He has the stun on the missile. I think Tinker's level 25 talents are underwhelming.
And looks like there's gonna.
He should have.
Go on.
You know what you should give? March of the Machines mini stun.
Oh yeah, that would
like
be balanced, bro.
An avalanche.
Yeah.
I mean, tiny avalanche. What's that?
That would be balanced, bro. I'm very glad you're not
like
dealing with
0.01 mini stun. Like 0.01.
Good geo matchup, bro. Good geo matchup.
I think Kunkka actually finished an Abyssal Blade. I guess that is his answer to the Tinker, so Tinker cannot just BKB, rearm, blink away.
Talking of Abyssal Blade, actually, Brave King picks it up himself as well. And even Medusa has queued it up, and she still has. Oh, actually, there's an instant kind of hex onto the Mirana, actually, with the Brave King on top of her as well. She's going to go down. Tinker is in the back as well, hexing up the Mars, and Mars might be falling before he gets anything off as well. So a real disaster for the side of Spiderpigz. Actually, 2 buybacks for Trian and Mirana, and then Medusa is isolated, as you said. So he's been kind of forced up.
She still has BKB.
Does have BKB. And it's going to be but she's losing a lot of her mana action. Here comes the Hex, but instantly Abyssal Blade onto him. But Medusa is falling. Does have the Rapier, but does not have any way of getting health, and she's going to be instantly trying to run away, but I don't think she's going to be able to make it. Tinker's here, and her Rapier does fall, and I think this Kunkka is going to be falling as well. Wraith picks up the... Oh, look at the damage now. He's dishing out. And Kunkka goes down, does not have buyback, and neither does the Medusa does just have buyback. Yeah, so Kunkka does not have buyback, neither does the Mars, because he doesn't have it for gold. Medusa does immediately buy it back.
I can't see Medusa defending this though.
This is going to be a very hard defend.
He has no BKB.
He's going to try his best though, because Tinker comes in, starts the spam out, instantly hexing on. They're actually going to try and dive into him. Era does jump in, kicks her back actually. If Medusa dies here, this game is going to be over. Does get kind of healed up by the trim, but it's not enough, and Medusa is going to go, and immediately as she dies, they call GG, and there we go, guys. The best of 3 does go towards Chicken Fighters, who win this best of 3. So, wow, really well played for the Chicken Fighters, and they're going to advance through. I think they're going to be playing against Viking GG, I believe. Wow, what a series. Thoughts, Joe?
I think it's the winner of the other series whoever won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like Viking did win 2-0. Yeah. Well, we kind of saw in that last fight. I think it was really, really well played, that last fight by Chicken Fighters. The way they just... I mean, you saw as what we said the whole time.
I mean, absolutely lovely by the side of Chicken Fighters, and they will advance for toward the next best of 3, which is going to be against Viking GG. But for Spiderpigz, they're still alive in the tournament, but they're going to be kicked down to the lower bracket. But yeah, that's going to be it for this series, guys. Any final words?
What happened in the last fight was kind of what we were kind of talking about for the entire game, where you just saw them, the way they completely ignored the Medusa, instantly go on the Mirana, then to the Treant, then to the Mars, and they just kite the Medusa as much as possible, stop her being able to do any damage, and then just save her for last when she can't do anything by herself. With just a 5-second BKB. Cool. It's just well executed.
Right, that's going to be it for us here, guys. So really appreciated you watching and following the stream. Might be, there's going to be more streams in the future, I'm certain of it, in terms of catching any more of the European or other regions qualifiers. So appreciate all the support and all the follows, and make sure you're catching any more following streams. But until next time, guys, it's been Mini TV signing out. till next time, keep keyboarding and grinding. Peace.